Welcome to the Sam Dean Podcast, where we talk about life, uncensored. Today on the show, we have Mike and Bess Suarez, who own Come and Take It in Athens. Come and Take It's a convenience store where they have high-end groceries, craft beer, and wine, and it's a great place. It's on Larkin Street, so go visit Come and Take It in Athens. Also, our show's sponsored by Protein Proletas. There's protein ice cream that you can buy at CrossFit Van Zant and CrossFit Van Zant South. It makes for a great post-workout snack. You can also find it at proletas.com, Proletas.com. The podcast is also sponsored by Van Zant Coffee, the best coffee roasted here locally in East Texas. It's my favorite. I recommend Hondo Sidekick. I love it. We sell it in 1-pound bags. And you can order it on vanzantcoffee.com. Thanks for listening, everybody. Enjoy the show. Bye-bye. All right, we're here with Bess Suarez and her husband Mike. They own Come and Take It in Athens. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's great to be here. This is my first. I never thought I'd be on a podcast. I feel like I really made it.
You've never listened to a podcast before.
Oh, that's true.
I tried to get him to listen to some of these so we could be a little prepared, but he doesn't do what I say. He's busy. Yeah. You're right.
So the reason I'm doing podcasts, guys, if you listen to the early ones, you would know that.
Well, I'm still curious. Like, what motivated you to do this?
Well, I want to learn as much as I can. I want to hear stories. I hate watching interviews like on late night television or on the news where it's just a soundbite and you don't get the full story. Mm-hmm. So I'm prepared now to keep you guys in my house for as long as possible to get the full story until we're just tired of talking.
There's a door right there.
Yeah.
But are you willing to keep our children in your house as long as possible?
I'm sure they'll be asleep by the time we finish this. Hopefully they're watching Terminator or some type of great movie upstairs with George.
Predator
is a good one. I like more of a... my favorite Schwarzenegger movie was The Commando.
Oh, yeah. Ray Don Chong.
He had the Blazer. Wouldn't start. He rolled it down the mountain because he had this log home. You remember the first scene?
Oh, yeah.
He rolled it down the mountain. He jumped in, and then he started kicking ass after that.
Was that on TV the other night? And you watched?
I wish it was on TV the other night.
Yeah.
Let off steam, Bennett.
And then the Running Man. You remember the Running Man?
Oh,
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
That's a Stephen King book.
Which is awesome. Have you read it?
No, I need.
Oh, you got to read it. And at the very end.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, write that down. At the very end, he crashes a plane into the tower.
Did you just spoil it for him?
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway,
so I'm gonna read the entire book.
No, it's a short story. It's like.
Well, have you ever read Rambo, the book?
There was a book.
First Blood.
There was really a book.
Yes, it's called First Blood.
I'll imagine that. But
I'm not gonna tell you what happens though, because it's different than the movie.
Really? Oh, interesting.
You report back with the book report.
Okay.
Do you think they have those at the local library?
Maybe. I've got the book here at the Sam Dean Library, so
cool.
I'll just let you borrow it.
We'll be leaving with that.
Can I check it out?
Yeah, if I can find it. Yeah. But no, it's cool. It's okay, but it's way darker than the movie.
So is Running Man. If you can imagine that.
Yeah, that was dark as a kid. You know, my parents growing up let me watch, and I don't know if they were just beat down by the time they had me, but I watched Terminator, Running Man, Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon. I mean, I'm like George's age and I'm watching these movies, which didn't mess me up at all.
No, you're a fine, upstanding citizen.
Yeah. Well,
in spite of this.
I think so, in spite. But I have a funny story real quick. And if you have a kid in the vehicle, close the ears. But we go to my mom takes us to Disneyland, Disney World. My brother and I. I'm about George's age, but my grandmother, Gagi, Mary Estes, and Wowo, her sister, Oni Beth Hervey, who's my great aunt, go with us. 'Cause my dad's like, I'm not going to Disney World. And,
that would totally be you.
So we go to Destin, Florida, where at some point Lethal Weapon's coming out in the movie theaters, so we go see it, And it is, if you've seen Lethal Weapon, not on TBS, but in the real life, it's MF this, MF that, this, F this, F that, F, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover going, I'm too old for this shit, Riggs. The whole thing. But at one point, we're kind of shocked, me and Luke. Not really, but one point, whoa, she's in her 70s at this point, I think. She turns over and goes, will you pass the effing popcorn? But she didn't say effing. She said the real world, the real one. But all right, so you guys, I met you guys when I came to Athens to build CrossFit Van Zant South. I started coming in your store and buying beer,
peddling your coffee.
No, before you came in, just
as a customer,
checking it out.
Yeah,
I remember that.
As a lover of beer.
Yes.
So still am. And then what happened?
Well, I remember, funny aside, so this guy would come in on his Raptor with a big Ranger tab sticker on the back.
Yeah.
And he wanted a bottle.
Small one. Yeah.
And he had he wanted a bottle of wine, and so I took it off the rack. Mm-hmm. And I acted like I was going to toss it to him. Just like...
Yeah.
The look on your face is priceless. Like you couldn't believe I was tossing a bottle of wine at you.
But was he ready to catch it?
No.
Probably not.
Like nobody had ever done that to him before.
First of all, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
That's a big deal, yeah.
Anyway, one of my first Sam Dean memories.
He does that to all the customers.
Not everybody. I should more, though.
Just ones that he probably... And then eventually, I think that... I don't know where you were in your coffee business at that time, but eventually, I think you gave us some coffee samples.
Yeah.
And...
No, probably not.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. I mean, because I don't give out samples.
Okay, well then I guess maybe we bought a bag from you, because I
think
remember drinking it before we carried it.
I probably gave you an entire bag.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I would think that would be like a sample. Here's a bag.
I'm against samples. Let me tell you that. I don't know. People all the time send me messages. Can you send us some samples before we? And I'm like, ma'am, it's $15. Live on the edge for once. Just go out there. Take $15 and bet on red or black, and it's good. You're gonna love it. And if you don't, I'll just give you your money back. But I'm not gonna have buy thousands of dollars of sample packs just to give them out to people that, quite frankly, the people that love those samples, they just live off those things, and it pisses me off. Mm-hmm. I had a lady at Farmers Market early on in the coffee game. I saw her waiting in line, and she finally made it up to the line, and she didn't know what she wanted. She kept looking around. I'm sorry, my email's coming up. It's a Trump email, so I keep getting 30 of those a day. But she keeps looking around at the different coffees, and there's a line behind her at this, and I'm like, ma'am, I'm gonna just have to get the customer next to you. Let me know what you want, Mm-hmm. She's like, well, you have any samples? Can I try? And I have a long line. So I start helping somebody else, and he goes, well, I guess you don't want my business then. And I was like, well, if you just tell me what you want. And anyway, it made her mad, and she came back, and she goes, this should be called Henderson County Coffee because you're not in Van Zant County anymore.
Oh.
And stormed off. And
so this was at the Athens Farmers Market?
This was Canton Farmers Market, in which, in full disclosure, I started Van Zant Coffee in my kitchen in Canton, Texas. Uh-huh. And I roasted in my kitchen for a long time before I built CrossFit Van Zant South in Athens and had a whole facility that I could put a commercial roaster in. Mm-hmm. And also, Van Zant is not just because of the county I live in. It's because I'm a fan of Towns Van Zant.
Yes.
Of little Steven Van Zant from the E Street Band. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even though it's a little different spelling, but Ronnie Van Zant from Leonard Skinner. Because I'm a huge music fan.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the county.
But I'm confused. I thought Canton is Van Zant County.
It is. Yeah. But she found out that it was roasted in Athens,
Okay.
So you're a fraud.
and she was calling me out. And
I got you.
anyway,
I'm up to speed now.
Well, I figured he's
you're-
from Van Zandt County, so
Yeah.
he calls it that, and that's good enough for me.
Well,
right.
that old
So,
lady was
hey,
just mean.
if you're listening, you know who I'm talking to. Anytime, anywhere, you want to fight? Me and you,
Stay out of Come and Take
old
It.
lady. So Come and Take It in Athens, and let me just tell you what I think it is. First of all, it's the most high-end package store in East Texas. You go in there, it's clean. Every beer that I've ever wanted is in there. I prefer Guinness. I prefer Lone Star Light, and we know these things. But every little microbrewery is available. Also, wine. There's not a good place to buy wine around here. There is. Come and Take It in Athens. If you're on 19 and you're going from Canton, you go under the loop. You go over the railroad tracks. There's a flashing yellow light. That's Larkin Street. You take a left. That's right before you get to the square. And Come and Take It is on the left. There's a mural with a lot of Texas flags. A lot of. There's actually a little bag of Van Zandt coffee on there. All kinds of stuff. But they have food, some food items. They've got Van Zandt coffee there. They've got little stuff like that. But if you want some quality stuff, go shop there. And when are your hours?
We're open Wednesday through Friday from 12 to 6, and then on Saturdays from 10 to 6, but we are closed from Sunday through Tuesday.
Okay. Now you tell me what Come and Take It is.
Well, you know what the secret is? Like, and some people figure this
It's
out.
a great boss.
It's a glorified convenience store.
Yeah.
There's
We've always
beer,
called it that.
there's wine, there's snacks, but it's all a cut above what you would expect anywhere else. And people think it's just alcohol, but really there's something for everyone in there. I mean, we have all kinds of great foods, candies and whatnot.
Gifts. We got candles. I do believe Ashley's a fan of the candles that Come and Take It.
You sell coolers.
We
Yep.
do sell coolers.
Sell
Bison
Bison
coolers, Texas
coolers.
company, made in the USA, not China.
We sell ice to keep your beer cold.
Ice to put in the cooler.
Why did you guys start Come and Take It Athens? Where did the idea come from? So take me back to the initial.
Great question. So when we got married, we knew we wanted to do something. We didn't know what. So we started saving money, and then we got this idea. We realized we were living in Austin at the time, and we wanted to move. We were just tired of living in the city. And Bess is from Athens, born and raised in Athens, and okay, let's do this. We like beer and wine and food. It's a big part of our lives.
But what sparked it was Athens became
Correct.
wet.
Yeah.
What,
So-
They're damp.
all right, what year was this?
This was probably like 2011, 12.
Yeah,
Okay.
2011, 2012. We got word that you can now sell beer and wine in Athens. And that was the light bulb.
That was a head-scratching moment.
And me and Mike, we might not have been thinking, oh yeah, we're totally going to move to Athens and live there for the rest of our lives.
There were
I don't
gears
think
turning.
that we were thinking that. But when we saw an opportunity to start something that nobody had ever seen in Athens.
Oh, and key also is Bess's brother, Justin Boswell, Chef Justin Boswell of Railway Cafe. He brought something completely different to Athens, and it was a hit. And so we started, maybe just think like,
People want
it's
nice
not people.
things.
There's an audience for this. People who want
Yes.
quality, essentially.
Yeah.
And we thought we could be the first freestanding beer and wine store in Athens. Sure, you can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Brookshire's, you can buy it at all the gas stations. But what if you had something that's nicer, that focused on fine wine, craft beer, that filled a niche?
And every time I go in there, you guys say, what are you looking for today? You try to help me make a selection based on, because if you don't know anything about craft beer, you're not going to know where to look.
No, sure.
And to sell it, you have to be into it. Same with wine.
Yeah.
It's like it has to be your thing. You can't just put it on the shelf. Well, there it is. Because that's what people expect elsewhere. So, and especially like small business thing, it's like, what can I do that the big box store can't do? What can I do that, the chain store can't do? And it's that personal service.
Right.
That's key that's universal for any small business, I think, in these days.
Right. You have to be have it be a specialty and offer something that Walmart doesn't.
Niche and just customer service driven.
So 2011, when it went wet, and you're like, okay, I want to open a beer and wine store. Did you fear the pitchforks and the crosses burning in your front lawn, like coming after you because you're bringing hell's water?
For me, no.
The devil's liquor.
For me,
not liquor, but the devil's beer,
right.
devil's potion.
Sure.
into Athens.
No, because I was journeying to a new land, so I was ignorant of all these things. But Bess would probably have a better.
Because you guys are from Austin, the most liberal city in Texas.
Oh yeah, easy.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm from there, but I did live there. Mike, yes, he is from there.
I love Austin. If you listen to
it used to be beautiful.
The second podcast with Patrick Sproul, he gives us a lot of good Austin tips, and we might get into that later.
I did listen to that podcast, and I felt I knew every single place y'all talked about, every restaurant, every bar. But I wasn't expecting negativity like we did receive from certain folks in the beginning. And really it wasn't even about
the alcohol.
It was about people don't want nicer things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what makes you think that we want something that's nice? And that was unexpected.
And Sam, you and I have had this conversation where, and you went through this too, where people told you to your face, you're going to fail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's a motivator for certain folks,
Yeah.
And on the flip side, obviously we had positive people who were rooting for us the whole way.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't
supportive.
all bad. There's good and bad, but I guess the unexpected was thinking, and all we know is like, why wouldn't people want nicer things? Yeah. Like, that's a no-brainer to us.
Yeah, and it's not. There's not another place like it. There's no competition really for something like that.
Right. We have to.
Still not really.
We pick and choose our products because it is not carried at Brookshire's and it is not carried at Walmart. I mean, even our crackers.
Yeah.
You look at our cracker section, you're not going to find those anywhere in town either.
By being different.
Mm-hmm. So when I opened my gym, I told you, Mike, that you brought it up that had more people coming in at the beginning.
Yeah, this is great.
More people coming in the door, not customers, but more people coming in and say, "What are you doing running the gym?" There's 4 gyms just shut down, over the last 10 years. Aloha Fitness, and they started naming out all the ones. What? Like, this is never going to make it. But what are you doing? And I appreciate that.
Would you ever do that to a business?
No, I guess not.
I hope I wouldn't.
I always am in wonder of what is it about people that makes them approach someone who's
to take time out of their day to crap on them.
Well,
right. Like, what is that?
I think they think they have good intentions. Like, they're trying to save you from embarrassment.
They need to work on that.
Yeah, maybe trying to save you from embarrassment, or hey, I'm trying to give you some insider information that these businesses have failed in the past, and yours is probably going to fail too. So, yeah, I mean...
But no, ours is different. CrossFit Van Zandt is different.
Right.
They've never seen that before.
And then they were... And the same people, though, are still like, well, okay, I still don't do business with me, but it's... anyway. So, you didn't have it... You had a little bit of weirdness starting the business from naysayers or people coming in, but you opened. When did you open?
July 18th, 2013.
July 18th, 2013. And you had an old building and you remodeled it.
Yeah, we had this throwaway building that we bought it. I think my pickup truck cost more than the building, basically.
So you have a Chevy ZR2. We know. So Mike has a black ZR2. I have a white one. Anyway.
Yeah, I saw you drive up in that white one, and I was thinking, oh man,
Now
that jerk has my truck. So,
he doesn't really think you're a jerk.
The building.
The building.
So the building. So it was.
We knew it was ours when we walked in there, though.
Yeah, it just felt right.
It did.
But even though it looked terrible,
It's
because
awful.
the last thing it was a like pimp your ride kind of shop. Like if you want skulls airbrushed on your truck, or you want your bed liner sprayed in.
Yeah, do it.
We're not going there.
I don't know.
So, like there was gang member ownership. Okay, so
Bullet holes in the windows.
in the glass. Yeah. So
Trick my truck.
so we quit our jobs and moved here, and that's all I did. I was just inside that box and just gutting it, cleaning it out, and then just renovating the whole thing. So the floor, the walls, and the roof are the only thing that were original, really. And so put a lot of work in my own work into it. So yeah, don't look at the drywall too closely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the same at the gym for me. It's the finishes from a distance look really good. You get up close and you kind of look at it. But you guys you're right by the courthouse annex where people vote. Then it's come and take it, and then it's common area market, which is an old mill or something, right?
Old gin.
And
Yeah.
You're right directly behind Bacon Chevrolet.
It's where we buy all of our cars.
Black Chevrolets.
And they buy all of their Dr. Peppers at Come and Take It.
What is your best-selling item?
Okay, not any particular one, but the single craft beers by number, not by dollar, but by quantity. We have craft beers split up, and
you can build a six-pack.
you can make your own six-pack. You buy one, do whatever you want, but people love that because you don't want to spend $15 on a six-pack of something you don't even like.
There's two kinds of people.
That's kind of going back with the samples thing that I was talking about, right?
Yeah, and you don't buy singles.
No.
There's
Sandy doesn't buy
two
singles.
people. There's people who buy 6-packs and 12-packs and 30-packs.
Yeah.
And then there are people who buy all singles.
I can gut through a six-pack. Like, even if it tastes like vomit, I will finish. That's gross to say.
You're gonna power through it.
I can power through it.
But why would you want to do that to yourself when you could just buy one to see if you like it?
Cover more ground.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's value for me. I think my mind frugalness that I'm like 6-pack. I'm saving so much money buying 6 at one time,
Right.
because 1 costs this much, but 6 costs this much, and I'm gonna drink it. Like it's gonna get in the back of my truck, in the cooler or in the Ranger or in the bunkhouse or something. So it's gonna get drank by, or one of my friends is gonna come over and be like, "Oh, you've got this." It's his favorite beer.
Like I just did in
Yes,
your refrigerator.
like you just did.
Happen again.
Yeah, you just did that. So yeah, I would never buy just a single beer Now I did buy one of those giant Michelob Ultras for Dawn Morrow the other day because I owed her a drink because we were playing putt golf and I was like, "You won't jump in that whole pit of balls." There was a pit of balls at this putt place we played at. So
Even with COVID?
She just
Wow.
dove in there.
She dove into the COVID balls.
Swimming in there. So a bunch of golf balls. And
Side note: Dawn worked for us shortly.
yeah, yes she did.
She was an employee of ours as well.
She works
was
for
fun.
me now.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about Dawn for like 45 minutes.
Who doesn't love Dawn?
But so I bought her a big Michelob Ultra, and I don't even know if she drank it. Those 40 ounces that you can buy.
I'm sure she drank it.
Yeah, she
Sure
loves
she drank it.
Michelob Ultra. Never could get into it. But.
So yeah, single beers, big hit at Come and Take It. Because how many do you think we have, Mike? I mean, how many singles do we have?
It was probably like 150 maybe.
Then you can't even pick one.
We go through all that work and Sam won't even grab one.
I do it. I still love it. When we get new beers, I grab one, take it home, we drink it, we talk about it. We're going to do that with you here.
Yeah, we got a beer tasting coming up.
We brought some we picked the funkiest beers that we
we're
sell.
going to get weird.
Okay, good. So for the first time, me and Patrick did a beer tasting for that Rio Jade.
The Rio Jade.
These guys got me Rio Jade Lone Star, which is the new Lone Star flavor for my birthday. Gave me a 6-pack. Thank you for not give me one.
I knew I couldn't do that. It would freak you out.
So we had it. Anyway, so we're having a beer tasting here later on the show. I have a couple more questions before we get there, though.
Sure.
If you don't like beer, let's talk wine for a minute. I don't know much about wine. I prefer Cabernet.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have this wine that's healthy called Fitvine wine that I like to drink. I feel like wine has so much sugar and it gives me such a hangover. This Fitvine wine, they have a Cabernet and they've got a Pinot and they got all the other types of wine, but it's like $15 or $16 for a bottle, and you're not as hungover, and there's like 0.0 something grams of very little sugar.
No residual sugar left.
There's no residual sugar.
And that is, I think, what gives people headaches a lot is the additives, the sugars, the different kinds of flavorings.
American wines do have a lot of
chemicals.
additives, and some people have histamine responses. A lot of people say, oh, the sulfites. It's not the sulfites. There's sulfites in any wine, even the cleaner ones. But it's additives. They're just like in our foods, there are food additives. In wine, there are wine additives.
And they're not regulated in wine. There's no
ingredient list on the back of the wine. No
they don't have to list what they're putting in there. They can put anything in there.
But if you want clean wines, also French, Italian, Spanish stuff is typically a lot cleaner because they're really into doing things the way they've always done it.
Well, they're not as clean as we are, like hygiene-wise.
No, probably not. Stinkier.
What's your most expensive bottle of wine? What's your premier bottle of wine? If you want to show
like
off
$300 range.
Well, we have a bottle of Chardonnay that's $350.
I'm just gonna drink that thing.
That might be our most expensive bottle of wine.
So what's that called? The $350 bottle of wine. It's a Chardonnay.
It is a
but what brand, do
Chardonnay,
you
which
know?
who spends that much money on a Chardonnay?
Is that the one that's
know.
in the case with the block?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's behind locked. Lock
Okay,
and
so
key.
if you go and come and take it, in the back wall there's a bunch of wine. Then they have some under lock and key where you have to say, excuse me, miss, can you unlock the special vault?
And Mike built those boxes with his bare hands.
So there's a 350 Chardonnay.
I should have brought it.
Yeah, we should have drank that because
But anyway,
I feel like people spend a lot of money on
but
reds.
people, yeah, more reds.
More
but,
reds than whites.
But, why does a bottle of wine cost? I think you've asked me this before.
Why is that
Why is
$350?
$350? Because it's like, why does the Ferrari cost $500,000? Because they only make
Handmade.
so many of them. It's handmade, a prestigious, maker. The people who can afford and will pay for that, they know what it is and they know it's going to be good. They know what they're in for. But yeah, just small production, just very hands-on. This bottle of wine came from a parcel of grapes that's like half an acre big. It's indicative of what the ground tastes like there.
And they didn't make that much.
And they didn't make a lot.
There's however many cases in the world.
And it's what the market will bear. There's people who will pay that for that level of quality. That's not to say you can't buy a $10 bottle of wine and it's not good. Yeah.
Do you like wine?
Oh, I love wine.
I love
So
wine.
what's your Mike? What's your favorite wine right now?
It depends on what I'm eating. Really.
Yeah.
I like it with food. It really, if you have the right, and
All right, you're grilling steaks tonight. All right,
I'm grilling steaks.
you're
But
grilling
before I
steaks.
said that, like, there was a time where I thought, like, oh, you pair your wine with your food. That's silly stuff, and you swirl it in the glass. No, it's all serious stuff. If you have the right wine paired with the right food, it really just elevates the meal entirely. So, like, we're grilling steaks tonight, right?
Yeah.
So
Grilling steaks.
hypothetically. So you want a Cab or a Bordeaux style blend, which is predominantly Cab, because it's just like in pairing wines is like a boxing match. You don't want the featherweight and the heavyweight. That's not a good fight. You don't want the Chardonnay with the steak because it's just not going to. The Chardonnay's not going to stand up to the steak. You want equal, an equal match. You want a big wine to go with that big rich meat.
That's good. I've never heard that.
But that's the best analogy I can come up with. So you want something rich with some acidity to cut through the richness of the steak, and it all comes together. It's better than beer with a steak or bourbon with a steak. No, the wine makes way more sense.
And then there's some wines that you don't necessarily want to drink with food. Sometimes, like, you're just like, oh, well, this stands alone.
There's some
it's
standalone
delicious.
wines. Yeah.
You don't want to like ruin it with something that you're eating.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I've dabbled in that as well. I'm more of like, I like drinking red wine. I'm going to drink red wine with my fish, my steaks. But Mike is very like, we go to a restaurant. He's like, well, what are we going to eat? Is going to determine what kind of wine we're going to order.
So if it's my anniversary and I'm cooking dinner for Ashley, just me and her. Got the candles. George is staying with grandparents, or maybe at y'all's house.
No.
Yeah, bring him over.
And I can come and take it earlier that day or that week, and you can tell me based on what I'm cooking, what do you think I should get?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Oh yeah.
A bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So Bess, I know. Lately, you've been on these seltzers.
Yeah.
You've kind of got.
I was drinking one when I came in today.
You kind of got off the beer, and you're on these seltzers.
Yeah, I like the seltzers. I had a grapefruit ranch water today when I was at Common Area Market eating my burger, sitting outside. I think they're very refreshing.
Ranch water, it tastes good. Yeah.
Tastes good. You've had the ranch water, right?
Uh-huh.
They have grapefruit, lime, and spicy now, which I like that as well.
What's it taste like? Kind of
Like the regular one, but you catch the pepper on the finish.
Yes,
it's almost kind
you
of
drink it, and at the end, your throat starts burning.
Spicy margarita
Yes.
in a way. Or
Yeah.
Like a,
Yeah, it's really good, and I like the seltzers, because it's hot, and they're nice to drink when you're outside, sitting outside.
They're also quasi-healthy too.
Yes,
right?
lower in sugar,
It's-
lower in carbs,
In
lower
the beverage
in calories.
industry, it's called the better for you category. That's what they literally call it.
And people are into that. I mean, people don't
No
like
doubt.
to drink 500 calories at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, beer makes you fat for sure.
Beer, wine.
It's sugar water. Beer, I mean,
Yeah, it's
bottom
like
line.
beer is like eating a loaf of bread. You know.
Yeah. So you do feel better, and it doesn't fill you up. You drink 6 beers, you're just like, you're so full.
Yeah.
You drink 6 seltzers, you feel like $1 million. And you're like, you're hydrating. It's like you're beating the system. You're drinking water.
Well, it's cool. So if you don't drink alcohol, what do they get at your store? If you don't drink any alcohol, what are we shopping for?
Well, we have a freezer section that has meats. We have stuffed meats. We have grass-fed
We sell
beef.
a lot of La Boucherie products, which La Boucherie is, if you've ever had the stuffed chickens or the stuffed pork loins from Buc-ee's or H-E-B, it's the same thing.
Same company.
And people love it because you bake it. That's all you do, and it's
Yeah.
a winner.
It's good.
You can put on the
Everybody
grill, put
loves
it in
it.
your oven. We have cheeses and crackers. Come and Take It is a great place to come if you need some hors d'oeuvres for a party, a shower, just hanging out with your friends and you want some cheese and crackers, nuts, olives, chocolate, Van Zant coffee. We do have like San Pellegrino, sparkling waters, Topo Chicos, margarita mix, Bloody Mary mix. Of course, we don't sell liquor because there are no liquor sales in
can't.
Athens.
But hopefully,
we have some
maybe
mixers.
one day soon.
Maybe one day soon. We do have some basic mixers for your cocktails. But yeah, a lot of people think, well, I don't drink, so I can't come and take it. But we have lots of food.
What's the closest place to buy liquor from Athens?
That would be Crescent Heights, which is on 31 West from Athens.
Maze.
So 31 West. Okay, so going. I don't know.
Like
Going
in the
toward
direction of
Malakoff.
Waco,
Going towards-
but just a mile or two outside the loop, and so it's basically 10 minutes from our door to theirs.
So it's from my house. I'll just go hit the loop, get on 31 West, and it's down there somewhere. Okay, didn't know that. That's good to know. All right, 2011. Y'all are thinking about Come and Take It. Your kids were born probably 2013, 2014.
They were
Our kids were
born
born 6 weeks.
weeks after we opened Come and Take
And
It.
I don't recommend to anyone to have kids, twins, and start a business in the same year. I mean, it worked out; it's fine, but
It's hard.
It was very hard.
Separate those two.
So let's go back. Let's go back to where, Bess, let's start with you. You grew up in Athens. Honey, Kim Boswell is your mother.
Kim and Alan Boswell are my fine parents.
Who they do CrossFit.
I actually wasn't
let me plug
born-
this. They do CrossFit. I met them at CrossFit Van Zandt.
Yes.
But go ahead.
They do CrossFit. They're CrossFitters.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't born in Athens. I was born in Houston. I hate to admit that, but I did move to Athens when I was 6 weeks old.
You too?
In a little yellow brick house on Prairieville. And grew up here. Couldn't wait to leave. Like most people do when they grow up around here. Yeah.
That yellow brick house that's on there was the one that you grew up in?
Mm-hmm. Kind of on the corner.
Yeah.
There's the big red brick house.
Yeah.
And there's a little yellow brick house.
All right.
706 South Prairieville. That's where we lived. Moved to Bel Air at some point. Grew up there in that neighborhood most of my junior high school days. And then...
Like the Fresh Prince?
Of Bel Air.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Different Bel Air, but same. It's kind of the same.
Kind of. Went to UT. Moved to Austin.
Hold up.
What?
So in high school, drama major.
Yeah.
No, at UT, drama major.
I was a drama major at UT, but theater has definitely was always a part of my life since I was a kid. So I did a lot of plays out at the Athens Little Theater.
Yeah. What's your favorite play of all time?
That's really hard.
Do you like Broadway? And
I
stuff
do.
Like that?
I've been to Broadway. I think that one of...
What's the best one?
Well, The Producers stands out to me. That's a really good one. We went to... My parents took us to Broadway when my dad turned 50. It was like a big family trip to New York City. And we saw a lot of Broadway shows. We saw The Lion King. That was super cool. Aida. What else did we see? I love Les Mis. I mean, I know that that's like almost like you don't want to say one that is so well known, but
that's why it's
the music in that musical, it's just so moving. Yeah. It really is. And even when they made that movie, I was just like, am I going to be the only one singing in the audience? Yeah. Like I love that story. I love that music.
So Ashley in mine's favorite is Rent.
Yeah, Rent was great. I saw that on Broadway too.
We love it. We know all the songs.
Yes.
We have the CDs. We sing it. We've seen the movie. We saw it on Broadway a few times. We went to Dallas to see it. Oh yeah, don't even get me started.
600 minutes.
Yeah, I love it. It's good. I don't know why. I love it. And so why UT?
Well, where else are you gonna go?
I don't know. I mean, I don't
really think that I wanted to go anywhere else. It took me a long time to get into UT, I'll tell you that, because I didn't have the best grades. I'm kind of an A, B, occasional C student.
I remember transferring into UT at the time was hard.
Yes.
It was tough.
And I think that when I finally got into UT, they stopped taking transfer students. I was like, I slipped in at the last minute. But I went to TVCC here after graduating high school. And then I went to ACC, Austin Community College, at the Rio Grande campus, which was one of the original high schools in Austin. And it was pretty cool. It felt like a high school. It was a high school.
It was the 13th grade. I'm telling you.
Well, for me, I think it was the 14th grade, okay? So, I already went to the 13th grade at TVCC.
So, Mikey, you're from Austin?
I was born and raised in Austin. That was my world.
He went to Austin High.
I went to Austin High, the school they based Dazed and Confused off of.
Yeah. The Moon Tower.
And it had this legacy of a party school. It really did. I mean, I don't know. I think later that they got away from that, but yeah, it's like people streaking at the pep rallies, and it was great. Kegs in the parking lot, It was fun. I mean, it was fun. And then after that, I went to ACC the 13th grade, and then I ended up at St. Edward's, and I studied political science, which
because he probably couldn't transfer into UT at that point.
I couldn't, but political science was a tremendous waste of time and money, but whatever.
And theater.
Yeah, not very marketable.
That's why we own a beer store.
Yeah, we sell beer for a living.
Yeah. Hey, look at me. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. It's like, undergraduate college, it seems could be really anything. It's kind of just more school for you. I don't know of anybody that actually uses what they learn the first 4 years.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be a doctor
Right.
or a lawyer or
Yeah.
something, but
That's when it matters.
that's not what we do.
But that's, that's extra school on top of school, and I think it's like you need time to figure out what you really want to do, and then it's like
Well, I'll tell you this,
then
like,
you do it.
I think in the back of my mind, I always knew what I wanted to do. So, like, when it started when I was 12, and I remember being at Sam's Club with my mom and begging her to buy me this case of blow pops. She's like, Mike, you don't even eat candy. Like, why do you want this? Like, no, mom. And so I talked her into it. Went to school the next day, dumped all of my books into the locker. Don't need those anymore. Dumped the blow pops into the backpack, and I sold them for 25 cents to all the other kids, and I made money. And so it's I think that's like it clicked to me, like
Yeah.
That's essentially what we do now.
dump the books in the locker and just get to work, And so like later I put signs up around the neighborhood, mowed yards in the summer, and made money. And it's funny, like I remember people being the people who called me were impressed that because I was the only kid in the neighborhood doing that, like getting off his ass, basically.
Yeah.
And so I think I always had it, and then onwards, I worked almost exclusively for small businesses. I think, long story short, I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. When I was growing up, of course, I grew up basically across the street from First Monday, so as far as like even before junior high, I was working down there as a salesman for David Harmon, and David Harmon had all these different booths. He had a clothing store. He had like these as seen on TV sandwich makers that you would just cut out a piece of bread with the bottom of it, and he would make a circle. You would put it on top, and you would put peanut butter and jelly in there, and you'd fold it over, and it made this little pouch. I sold so many of those. But then he had a product called Wigglewood Dinosaurs. It's just like this wooden dinosaur that wiggled, and you pulled it. A kid pulled it.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
I sold
about.
thousands of them,
Wow.
and I would pull them through the arbors, and I had a whole spiel I would give. I would stand on it. I would try to break it, and we talk about it all the time. Every time I see him, but yeah, I cut my teeth. I also he had a toy store I worked for, and all these things. Learned how to be a salesman, but then my grandpa taught me how to barter. I remember him going in Gober's, which is the old, before Hibbett's came along. That was a sports store in Canton. We went in there, and he bought me my first baseball glove. But I remember him like going back and forth with Mr. Gober, trying to get him down on the price. And I would do that down at First Monday when I was buying baseball cards. And then eventually in junior high, at some point, me and Blake Campbell, best friend, we had a baseball cards to sand. We were selling baseball cards. And people would come up, and I would go back and forth with them. And I made money, I don't know how old I was, but I was selling my baseball cards. And people couldn't believe it.
And that charismatic kid, they want to give you the money.
Yeah, oh,
It's
yeah.
like you're different from the
And
other
I had
ones.
fake cigarettes every once in a while down there, and old women would go and be like slapping out my hand. And cigarettes you puff on, and there'd be some fine powder would come out.
Yes. Yes.
Stink bombs. We would bust stink bombs in somebody's. Man, it was terrible. But First Monday was great. Still is. It's the giant world's largest flea market, by the way, in Canton, Texas. It's the weekend before the first Monday of every month.
It's the only place where I saw a basket full of raccoon faces.
Yes.
I was impressed.
You should have bought that.
It's one of my greatest regrets.
Or do you only buy one raccoon face, or could you buy the whole basket?
I'm sure you could make a deal for the whole
Yeah,
basket.
but, I mean,
it was like
it
a bushel basket.
just
if you want
buy
a,
one.
if you want a corny dog, maybe a lemonade, and you need a window regulator for a 1964
And a raccoon
Ford
face.
Mustang, or a box full of raccoon faces. That's wild.
or random pictures of other people's families.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. Okay, so when did you guys meet?
Well,
I don't know what year it was.
2007,
Yeah, I think it was 07.
maybe.
It was we had probably met before we met because we had so many mutual friends.
There was some friend overlap.
Yeah, there was some friend group overlap. I feel like we were probably at the same party at some point, or maybe at the same club.
Okay. Well, when was the moment? When did you meet?
It was at the Gingerman.
The Gingerman
in
which is
Austin.
a craft beer bar.
It was during South by Southwest,
Okay.
which is
Where is the Ginger Man?
Well, it's not there anymore. It
Yeah, it
moved.
doesn't
If it even
exist.
it probably doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, it was in this cool old Nabisco warehouse on 4th Street. So it's this old wood rafter building. Anyway, I hung out there a lot with my friends. But
they had a huge wall of beer on tap, and they had these cool little like places you could sit that looked like a library. You know, it had cozy couches, and they had like dart boards and pool tables and a jukebox and I mean, it's like the perfect bar.
But that night, I remember my best friend wanted to go see Flava Flav was playing down at Auditorium Shores.
Got to go see that. Yeah.
And so, yeah, we went and saw that. And
Flava Flav.
I was a bit inebriated. But anyway, so everybody was meeting up at the Gingerman afterwards. So
And I got a call from a girlfriend that said, "Hey, we just went to the Flava Flav show. Come meet us at the Gingerman and have some drinks." And I was already home. I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. Do I want to go back out? I'm already home. But I went. I was like, what else am I going to do? I got dressed, went down there, met some friends who was with his group of friends. And we were all hanging out on the front deck. And his friend, I'll never forget this, Gray, who I know well now, like, he got into the Flava Flav attire. Like, he had a grill.
Dressed like Flavor.
yeah.
And did he
yeah.
have like some,
Clock.
like a big, was it a
He had
clock or
some
just
kind
a
of-
big gold
no, just
necklace?
some bling or of some sort.
And Mike is like standing next to this dude. And I'm thinking
This is your friend?
I didn't really think Flava
This is you
Flav,
hang
like,
out with?
he's just doing this for fun. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's who I hang out with.
is this really your friend? Like, not that I have anything against grills and gold chains. I'm down with that. But it was just funny because that was a little bit of a first impression. I was just kind of like, I don't know. But we started talking, and I don't know. I feel like that we just talked all
We
night
just talked all night.
on the deck, and we ended up going to the whiskey bar after the Gingerman, because of course after you drink beer you probably need to drink
shift
whiskey.
gears. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it was fun, like the energy. It was like South by Southwest, there were bands
There's
playing
people
everywhere. And at that point I was in the service industry. I knew a lot of people who worked in the bars, and they were probably like, I think we might have snuck in the back door of the whiskey bar that night, because you can't go to normal bars during South by Southwest unless you have your tag.
Right.
So, like, the normal people who live in Austin, they can't go anywhere for 2 weeks
Yep.
if they're not going to play the game, right? If they're not going to go buy their lanyard, you can't go to your...
Which is $1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was back then. I don't think it was that much, but does that even happen anymore?
No.
Yes. Well,
South
No.
by Southwest
It got canceled.
they got canceled. I've been to it 2 or 3 times. I saw Warren G at the Austin Motel by the pool singing
Regulators?
Regulators
Yeah.
and
Cool.
a bunch other stuff. But I love South by Southwest. But anyway,
Yeah, whiskey bar, got in the back door, and we're just like, I'm probably drinking Southern Comfort, which is
Oh,
awful.
yeah. It's the first time I've had it, and the last time I've had
Awful.
it.
But at that point in time, I would drink it, and I
on the
loved...
rocks.
SoCo and lime.
So on the rocks.
Yes, I loved SoCo and lime with maybe a little bit of cranberry juice. That was, I wouldn't drink it now. It kind of makes me
liquor-
cringe just thinking
so
about it.
Beer before liquor, never been sicker.
That's a myth.
Liquor before beer, you're in the clear.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
So
That's
y'all
all.
did the opposite.
No,
Opposite.
That's a
y'all
myth.
had
I don't believe
A
that.
bunch of beer, then you had liquor.
I don't know if I had a
I
bunch
believe
of
it.
beer.
I
I
think-
was late to the game that night.
Yeah.
No, I think if you got sick, that means you just drank too much, regardless of what it was.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't happen a lot, but like I can't drink whiskey or bourbon or any of that stuff because I think I got sick when I was a kid on it, and
Well, yeah, you can get a little spooked. Sure.
yeah, I just don't. It just doesn't taste good to me.
Hmm.
I like I like margaritas and I like certain vodka drinks, but all the whiskey I want to like it, but I guess I'm glad I don't.
But
Yeah,
if at one
I don't
time
really
it came
like
out
it
your
anymore.
nose, then
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's tough to go back.
Yeah,
I think that Southern Comfort was just so sweet, you know? That's like, it kind of cuts
you're from
the...
the South, So
Hey, Janis Joplin drank it.
Good enough for Janice.
she lasted a long time too.
But he, He didn't have a car at the time that I met him.
It was urban. I didn't need a car.
He
You don't
didn't.
need a car in the city.
He
right?
didn't, but he asked me for a ride home that night because he was on his bike, and I drove.
Drunk.
I
For
drove
fitness.
a
You can get-
Honda Element,
Yep.
which was one of my favorite cars. I actually have had 2 Elements in my life. This was my first one, and it was avocado green.
Okay.
And the seats folded up in the back, and we threw his bike in there, and I was taking him home. And I was thinking, all right, well, here's another dude in Austin that doesn't have a car. like I can't get away from him.
Yeah.
Like there's no dude that I can meet that has a vehicle. And I was really
Status,
thinking
yeah.
these things, although I thought he was super cute.
Yeah.
We had already been making out at the bar. I
Okay.
thought, I don't know, maybe this can go somewhere. And then he throws his bike in my car, and I'm having some slight doubts. But good thing that he left his bike lock in my car.
Oh, so the second meetup.
That night, yeah, he gave me his phone number. Went home. I got in my car the next day. I noticed his bike lock was in the back. And I was like, I guess I'm going to have to call him because he's left something in my car. So I think I called you the next day. And really, I think that we probably talked and saw each other every day since then.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you leave it in there on purpose?
I was really drunk. It was like one of my happiest mistakes ever. And I'm glad she called because I probably couldn't afford another bike lock at the time.
Yeah.
Hey, you had a job.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
at
it's-
least had a
I'm
job.
kidding. Yeah, I did have a job.
We both had jobs.
Did have a job.
I don't think. So where did you live in Austin? Did you live somewhere close?
At the time, like when we met,
Mm-hmm.
and I lived there for a long time, I lived on Barton Springs Road, right up the hill from Barton Springs Pool.
Yeah. Why would you need a car?
You really don't when you live there.
So
And I worked on
Because
the
you
other side of
want to
downtown.
take ladies
downtown.
out on dates.
yeah,
Well,
but-
that's true.
But Pecan Grove, where we stay in the RV, Pecan Grove, right there in Barton Springs. Whenever we can get a spot there, you don't need a car. It's right there by the trail, around Lady Bird Lake. It goes everywhere. Now they got all those scooters. But kind of. Okay, so let's get on with this beer tasting. So Mike's got some beers.
So, in style right now are sour beers. And it's a really interesting category because most people have never had anything like it before. Most beer is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But different bacteria are used to ferment, which creates a sour taste. And what's amazing to me is that a lot of people who have never been into beer before, I've never had a beer that I liked, I don't like it. Somewhere out in the wild, they taste a sour beer and they take off running with it. That's all they want. It's just so different from your Michelob Ultra or your, even your Shinerbock or whatever.
Don't you say Lone Star.
Or Lone Star. It doesn't. Yeah, it's like that's what we
This
think
is
of.
nothing like Lone Star.
This
All right.
is just.
I'm ready. I'm
light
up,
years
I'm up
apart.
to trust
You're
it.
gonna like this one.
Like it's still beer
Because it
but
tastes
the
like a margarita.
similarities in right there.
Okay.
So yeah, this one's a little more heavy-handed. Let's do this one first. So this is from Martin House Brewing out of Fort Worth. They do all kinds of weird stuff, but this one's called Super Fast Jellyfish, and it's a pineapple sour. So it has pineapple juice with lactose, which is milk sugar, that gives it like an oily, mouth-coating kind of feel. So, some for Sam.
Smell it because it smells
Yeah.
like pineapple juice.
For Bess.
You always
Wow,
want
it
to
does.
smell your beers.
That smells good. It smells like I'm on a beach.
Yeah, a little suntan lotion
Just
mixed
got
in there,
stung by a jellyfish,
and you're
and we're peeing on it.
Be on it.
All right, so take a drink of it.
Pina colada without the colada.
Ooh, gets those taste buds going.
Dude, I like it.
Yes,
refreshing?
Yes.
You taste the pineapple.
It's not sweet.
No, I don't like sweet stuff. I like that.
Now, sour beers, I do think it's a different kind of deal.
The
Everybody's
lip
doing that,
smacker,
yeah.
yeah.
But sometimes I say sour beers is like the beer for wine drinkers because it's just it's just so different.
It does taste
Like you taste fruit, but without the sugar.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to listeners.
So it does taste kind of like a little bit like a seltzer, like a White Claw of sorts, but better, So this is called Super Fast Jellyfish. It's a green can with pink, it says pink, Super Fast Jellyfish, pineapple sour with lactose. So they have to say that for all those lactose intolerant
And
people.
that freaks some people out. They're like, what is lactose?
It's milk sugar.
They think it's
That's
going
all
to be
it
like a
is.
milkshake. And there are some beers that say milkshake IPA or milkshake this, and they think there's actually like a milkshake in the can.
Okay. I gotta take a drink of Lone Star to
Palate cleanser, sure.
cleanse the palate. Mike and Bess brought me a case of Lone Star Heavy,
It was a condition.
which we traded for a sponsorship.
I know that your beer is Lone Star Light. I'm not sure why Mike grabbed the heavy.
He knew I needed that.
Oh,
so
okay.
I thought you bought the red one.
I buy the blue one, but I will buy the red one from time to time.
So
But I'm
yeah,
more a
I
fan
knew
of
you
the
would
blue.
still drink it.
I have a lot of the blues outside. I don't have any reds.
So next beer, Founders out of Michigan. They do one called Masagave, and it's an imperial style goza, which is kind of a made up style based on an old German style. But it's tart. The goza is tart and has some salinity to it. It's actually really quenching. It's like a harvest time beer that I think they made before Gatorade was invented. There's some sugar, there's some salt. It's refreshing. But this one is with grapefruit and agave. But what's special about this one? It's aged in a tequila barrel.
Okay.
So have a taste.
Smell it first.
Get
It smells like coconut. Kind of. Maybe I've got coronavirus. Can't smell anything. It's not funny, but
Nothing funny about Corona. The other interesting thing about this beer is that
Yep.
it's 9.7%.
wow.
Okay, your Lone Star over here is like 4.3 or something.
So this is like
So-
crunk juice.
This is
Yes.
big boy beer.
It's like Little John's
Yeah.
beer.
Beers that are aged in whiskey barrels, bourbon barrels, tequila barrels, they're usually a little
So this
higher
is-
in alcohol.
This is Founders brand Mas Agave grapefruit.
What do you think, Sam? I mean, give us your honest
I
opinion.
like it. I don't like it as much as the last one.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It's different.
I mean, I'll drink it. Because
This could be the dump cup if anybody doesn't want to
Yeah.
finish their share. You can dump it. But I know, Sam, you might power through all of these
through
samples.
this just because it's rude. to put
Well,
it
you
in.
said earlier if it tastes like puke, he's still going to power through it, right? So pound your puke.
That's a lie, but
Do you taste the tequila at all?
yeah, oh yeah. The reason I couldn't drink it is because it's so alcoholic tasting to me.
It's a
like,
little boozy.
Yeah,
boozy.
it is
hot. It's
boozy
heavy.
for sure.
You can smell the ethanol.
Like I don't like taking shots.
Mm-hmm.
So like let's get around the shots. It's
Right,
like,
me
no,
neither.
let's
I'm
not.
not a shot guy either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't buy me one. They're $12 or whatever they are. But I've never taken a shot of alcohol and been like, that was a good idea.
It's always an awful idea.
It's always everybody's like, oh, that sucks. I want to throw up. Why do people do that?
I don't know.
Context. You're with your buddies and you're partying, whatever.
But I
guess
always
so.
liked Jello shots at any house party I
Well, that's
went
different.
to.
Jello shots.
Actually tasty.
Yeah, wiggle on down.
But yeah, you would go to your friend's house party and they would have those little cups on the tray in
Yeah.
the fridge, and you're like, yes, it's gonna be a great party.
Right.
There's Jello shots here.
And but the normal shot, it's like, okay, all right. Once you take that, you're going to be hungover, and it's just not. I don't know. Anyway, not a fan. All right, moving on.
So moving on to the next one. Okay, this beer is a phenomenon. So Martin House, the same one that did that super fast jellyfish, the pineapple sour, they teamed up with another Fort Worth company, Bess made pickles, and made a sour beer with pickle juice in it.
Okay.
And what's fascinated me about this beer, is that, we get people calling us, do you have this beer? Do you have that beer? We have had a greater volume of calls for this particular beer than any other in the 7 years that we've been in business. And what's amazing is that it transcends just category groups as far as, it's not just craft beer lovers who are looking for this. People hear about it. It's a beer with pickle juice in it, and I'm in.
Pickle lovers.
It's pickle lovers. if drinking pickle juice is a part of your life, then this is for you. And we sell out of it routinely because they only sell us so much at a time, and then we blast through it.
How many cases do they sell us at a time?
This is the girl that's on the pickle jars.
Yeah,
yes, it looks like the Best Made logo.
Best Made logo.
Best Made.
Yeah. You'd see it, Brookshire's or Walmart or whatever. Let's have a taste.
It's interesting because I didn't know so many people drank pickle juice. So you get a customer that's looking for this beer, and they're like, I drink pickle juice.
It's the silent majority.
I'll get my pickle juice jar and my beer, and I'll take one sip. And I'm like, I never thought that this happened. There's people out there that just get the pickle jar out and set it on the table and drink it.
So I'm smelling this beer. It's called Best Made Sour Pickle Beer. It looks like a pickle jar, but it's a can. And it smells like pickle juice.
On the nose.
Where this takes me is
skating rink. Is that what you
I was
going
going to say movie theater.
Movie theater.
Because I would get one of those big giant pickles in the wax paper sleeve at the movies every time I went.
I never got one of those.
Never got one.
Liked those, but I love pickles. I love to eat pickles on my burgers.
But do you drink pickle juice?
Hell no.
You're going to hate this beer.
Okay, well, let's see about that.
But do you hate pickles?
No, I love pickles.
You got to be a pickle juice
but
drinker.
I'm not gonna go to a snack bar and buy, especially a movie theater or a skating rink, and buy a pickle. I'm gonna get Reese's peanut butter cup, hot dog, popcorn,
sure,
whatever.
Not the pickle, not the big giant pickle.
All right, let me taste it.
What do you say?
I would like this if I was on a long run. If I was on the 100-mile race that we're doing.
Yeah.
It would be the best thing you ever tasted.
Yes.
After it's over.
Because all of our sweat.
Yep.
It has a salinity.
Sodium.
It has acidity.
Yeah. It's salty.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I could not drink a 6-pack of these.
One time,
there are people that do.
I drank one of these while I was eating brisket, and that made total sense.
Yes, brisket.
Brisket kind of tastes like it's kind of salty.
No, I'm saying just like, pickles with your sliced beef sandwich.
Oh, okay, I get it.
But just like the pairing wise,
it made
total sense.
I put pickles on top of my brisket, yeah.
But just think if you were sipping on this and eating a barbecue sandwich, or
all come together.
Or even like tacos, it'd be good.
I can see where people that love pickles love this. Obviously, if you love pickles, go to Come and Take It and get Best Made pickle beer, sour pickle beer. You'll love it. Because it's pickles and beer.
Period.
I honestly don't even pick up a lot of beer flavor though.
You're
like
right.
it really is just like carbonated alcoholic pickle juice.
It's carbonated pickle juice, exactly. I'm gonna power through it.
So we got some more beers to taste.
Hey, do we need to get you some of this for the run? For your 100-mile run? You and Bug? Put one in your little pack?
Yeah, I probably need just regular pickle juice, which would be hard for me to eat. But maybe just a bag of pickles or a jar. I would eat the pickles.
Well, what about a beer that's pickles?
The beer would make me farty and
It's natural, it's cool.
Yeah, well, I got enough of that already. Yeah.
Is there a supplement called pickle juice that is for runners? Like, isn't there like a pouch of something that's called pickle juice?
Here's this is it Noon? This tablet. Looks like an Alka-Seltzer that Bug puts it in our little camel bags.
Yeah.
Shakes it up. Because I sweat so much.
Yeah.
I have to have replenishment of sodium electrolytes or whatever
all the time
because I'll cramp.
Yeah.
My entire body will go into a massive cramp. So for this race, I have to eat more than even when I'm not hungry, I have to eat and eat and eat because I need to have the energy and the carbs to burn Otherwise, I'll start cramping. My muscles will start breaking down
Yeah.
and start cramping. Anyway, I also can't. I don't need something that doesn't make me feel good. I don't need anything that grosses me out, because obviously you don't want to get sick, or you want to keep your appetite. So I would probably be out on pickle juice, but I would probably eat pickles, because I'm not a pickle juice person. I like to eat pickles.
So we have some more beers to taste, but let's we'll give our palate to rest, because the
This
pickle
is a
beer,
shock to the palate.
it's a palate wrecker for sure.
Okay.
I haven't had this one in a while. I'm glad that I'm revisiting it.
So after the initial 3 beers that we had, will you grab that, Mike, please, the pink one? Yeah, this
You want to go back to that one?
super fast jellyfish
That's your favorite?
is my fave, and I think I would buy this.
Okay. The interesting thing about craft beer, too, is that we'll probably never see this beer again once it's gone.
Yeah.
The tragedy of craft beer is that it's not available at all times. In
Like
all
your Lone
places.
Star.
I go through
you know?
that with certain coffee beans, with Van Zandt coffee, like Bold Vaquero, the Peru fair trade organic bean that I get for that. It's not always available, and
This pickle beer was going to be one of those beers for Martin
just a
House.
one-off thing.
They were going to make one thing, but it took off like wildfire. They weren't even expecting it, and so they thought, okay.
They built a bigger brew house because of this pickle beer.
Yeah.
Like that's how big of a
especially
splash it made.
there's a lot of breweries out there now.
Oh, I hear about new ones all the time.
Oh yeah.
What makes them different? Well, one is a pickle.
Can art is a big competition too.
Yeah.
I mean, your can or bottle
See,
has to
you can make or
really
break
stand out.
That does not do it for me though.
But it's cereal boxes, it's
Yeah.
just attracting the eye.
All right, so let's get off the beer for a moment. What do y'all want to do with the rest of your lives? I asked the real questions here.
Oh wow!
Where do we go from here? It's
Where do we go from here?
2020.
Well-
you've got a store.
Yep. That we run.
Is it doing okay? Are you making a living? It seems like.
Well, like I
you are.
tell people, it turns out people are going to drink no matter what. Alcohol sales have been strong for thousands of years, and that's part of the reason why we decided to do this. is because it's a recession-proof kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's
and-
really rang true lately with the pandemic.
And so,
Yeah.
During this, we decided let's play with the hours. We used to be open. Well, first, when we started, we were open 6 days a week, and then we cut it to 5. And it's like, let's try 4 with less hours. And last week, sales were up 25% over the same week last year.
Awesome.
And we're not working as much.
I spend
Yeah.
more time with the kids. It's great.
Yeah, I need to probably do that in my own business, but
I highly recommend it.
I would like it to have somebody love come and take it as much as we do. And I know
you're
that,
talking about employees.
yeah, like
It's tough.
I would love to
It is tough.
have an employee that was I mean, they're not going to be as invested as we are. Obviously, it's our baby. But there's a point as a business owner that you would like to go on a vacation. Like, we have nobody to run, come and take it if we want to leave town. I mean, we just have to close and not make any money.
Yeah.
So,
But the thing with an employee in a small business, and I learned this, years ago.
Because you worked for small business.
Small
owners.
businesses, that it's a dead end job working
Yeah.
for a small
Yeah,
business.
you're not
Because
gonna-
your employees can never be Sam Dean or Ashley Dean. Our employees can never be Bess or Mike. And that's just how it goes, And if you want to make real money, then you have to be the owner. And so, here we are. But that's just the them's the breaks,
That's true. It's true, but there are other ways. Like if you were interested in opening a come and take it in Canton, or whatever, to be partners with one of your former employees to do that.
Sure,
et
there's
cetera,
a way to
et cetera.
massage it, but
Yeah.
but for now, we tailored our hours to where the two of us can run it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need an employee.
and we're not driving ourselves nuts.
Crazy, yeah. But and then the customers love it. They come in and
It's y'all.
they're getting one of us or both, likely.
Yeah.
And so that's, it just looks good. It's like when you and Ashley are both there, the dynamic just kind of changes,
I asked Doug Farrell with Atticus and Company. He said the Keystone thing, and I'm not talking about Keystone beer, which is also not bad, but just kidding. You buy this beer for half the price, and do you try to? And I'm just speculating, because that's what he said. Keystone is like, buy it for 50% off. You sell it for retail. You make probably half. Is that true?
No, not on, especially not on Keystone. The margins vary.
Not on beer in general.
But what do you guys try to, like, if you're looking at a new product, what are you trying to make on this product? I'm just interested on how do you run a grocery store.
So, well, then a supermarket is different than us, but a supermarket, you have the high turnover, high waste items, like produce. Mm-hmm. The markup is ridiculous because the trash is ridiculous, the throwaway.
What do you guys do with the stuff that you don't sell?
Well,
do you eat it?
Well, a lot of times.
Happens, but,
I'll take expired condiments home, and we try not to buy stuff. We try to buy stuff that at least has a long shelf life, obviously.
Yeah, shelf stable.
I try to drink all the old coffee. There's not a lot of it around.
Right.
Every time I go bring a coffee bag home, I pick the oldest one.
Yep. And we, we've got our ways of, like, we used to have like a clearance shelf where we would just try to sell it for cheap.
Yeah.
But it's buying too. Just like, say, beer, it has an expiration date on it.
Yeah.
And it's this delicate dance of buying exactly how much you need.
Logistics.
Yeah.
How do you know if you need more Lone Star? How do you keep track of how do you do inventory?
Well, I mean, I can reference back. We have this modern computer system that I can record everything.
Does it alert you on when you need to order certain things?
I can set it to do that, but I mean, I can look at out of stocks. A lot of it's in my head.
Yeah.
It really is, and just using the force, because we only have one store, and I'm there every day.
But that employee that you want to hire, they need to be able to do that one day. So
right.
that needs to be
right.
Something needs to tell them to.
That task seems impossible.
Yeah, that's a hard task.
Well,
that gives me stress. Just thinking about it.
Everybody
I
I
can't
talk
do it
to
in my business.
Everybody I talk to in this area who is either a business owner or in charge of hiring and firing, everybody has the same bitch. It's finding the people. It's talent, especially if you're trying to do something. Not just a mouth breather kind of job. You need an intelligent, personable person. You can't have a mouth breather teaching your classes. You can't.
Yeah.
It won't be Sam Dean level CrossFit Van Zandt. Mm-hmm. And same thing for us. It won't be Mike and Bess, come and take it level, that level of service.
And it's intimidating for some. Like, you come in to come and take it, maybe you want to work there, but it's like you're gonna have to know about all this wine and beer, and
you're gonna catch a habit by the time you leave here.
Right, you're gonna catch a habit, and our customers are high maintenance.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, but I mean,
there's an expectation
that you walk into a wine shop with cool wine that people know.
You gotta know about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you walked in to come and take it and somebody's standing there and you're like, hey, I'm looking for a really great bottle of wine for me and my wife. We like reds. We like it dry. And then they look at you and be like,
but if you go into McDonald's,
I don't know. I can't. I don't know what you want.
If you go into
McDonald's, can't happen.
Go into McDonald's and you go up to the counter and you're like, don't really know what I want. How are the chicken?
What's good here?
What's your good here? And they're like, I like chicken nuggets.
Sir, just get a Big Mac.
I'll take the chicken nuggets.
They're like, well,
the Big Mac.
I kind of like that quarter pound of cheese.
But at McDonald's at the corporate level, they have everything dialed in to where they can hire anybody, and everybody already knows the menu, because it's just been beaten into our brains our whole lives. Yeah. But you walk in to come and take it, you need someone to guide you through it. You walk into CrossFit Van Zandt, you need somebody to guide you through it.
I think, you need to know the basics. The basics of wine, basics of beer. At CrossFit Van Zandt, we know the level 1 trainer. Every employee is at least a level 1 trainer, so they know about the air squat, the 9 foundational movements. And I could list them here, but I'm not. But I have some really badass coaches, and
Because you've cultivated that employee.
Rachel, yeah.
And you obviously
Dawn, Tara,
have
Brian. Let me name them all real quick.
you obviously have people that can
Adrian
run your business while you go on vacation.
Yes, I do.
I've been a witness to it.
Yeah, I do.
Because while
thank
you're on
God.
vacation, I'm thinking, man, I would like to take a vacation one day like Sam Dean does.
Yeah, I remember one time Sam's like, "Hey, we're going to Austin. Mike, come with us." It's like, "No, I can't. I gotta work."
Yeah, we get invited to do stuff all the time. We're like, we have a business we run. We can't leave
trust.
it.
It's hard, but you gotta trust that person.
And we've had some fine employees over the years, but
Yeah.
it's just like Mike said, it's one of those jobs where it's just like they're not going to stay there forever.
And
They're going to find something better.
right.
Something, like
And I've in the past I've paid for coaches in the past. I've paid for their certifications and stuff, and they're with me for a little time and then they leave.
yeah.
And it's like, well, what about? And they won't talk to me again. But
Do you watch
Yeah.
Yellowstone?
I've watched the first season and a half of Yellowstone.
Okay, so you
I
know
love
Rip.
Kevin Costner. Yeah, Rip. Yeah.
Yeah, like that guy's dedicated to.
Right.
We're not branding people.
To Costner's.
I think
ranch.
we
Yeah.
should though.
Well, okay.
I think we should. I need that level of dedication for Come and Take It.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I will.
I'm scared to work there now.
I will
Like,
run your cattle, and
Yeah.
I will turn on the sprinklers. Like, I will
Yeah.
do what you need me to do because this is my home.
Yeah.
That's
That
what I'm
is
looking
awesome.
for.
Why do people like Rip so much? But isn't that what TV show was that guy? It's a kid TV show.
I don't know. Who is it?
He was on a kid. He was a kid show. Funkhauser or something? No.
Doogie Howser?
Pee Wee's
Rip.
Playhouse.
Let me look it up.
Pee Wee's
Rip-
Playhouse. Great
Rip
show.
on Yellowstone. What was he on? Rip on Yellowstone.
I think people like Rip so much
IMDb.
because Mike, you've watched some Yellowstone episodes with me. I'm a little more into it than Mike.
All right, so his name's Cole Hauser. That was it. Cole
Oh,
Hauser.
not Doogie Howser. MD.
So what was he now? School. He was on Dazed and Confused, Good Will Hunting, Pitch Black, Too Fast, Too Furious, Tears of the Sun.
What did he play
did
on
he-
Dazed and
Yeah.
Confused? Let's go back to that
Dazed
one.
and Confused.
What was his character?
Man, we're not getting in here. Let's see. Career.
Go to IMDb.
Dazed. I got it right. A role in Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused, also starring Affleck. Dazed and Confused.
Some podcast.
Cast. He's Benny O'Donnell.
But which kid was that?
Man, I don't know. We'll get there later, but I like Yellowstone because one time Ashley and I went to Aspen, Colorado
On a vacation.
on a
probably.
vacation.
With your employees
Yeah,
running the
but
place.
we were in the Army. Probably no. We actually owned a CrossFit Van Zandt because I went up there. That's when I took my CrossFit Kids certification in Boulder. But we went to Aspen. Did CrossFit at CrossFit Aspen. A friend of mine named Eric Larson owns the CrossFit Aspen. It was awesome. We're walking downtown Aspen, and this guy walks by. He's tall, and I look at him. I say, Kevin. Hey, Kevin. I say to him. And now she's like, who are you talking to? It's Kevin Costner. And he goes, hey, how you doing? He was so damn nice to Ashley and I.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I love Kevin Costner. I love every single Kevin Costner movie there's ever been. Even the bad Waterworld. Love it. Open Range, though, is the most underrated Western movie ever made. Have you seen Open
I don't
Range?
think I've ever seen
I've
that.
never seen
It's
it.
got Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of the best westerns ever freaking made.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't come up with it when I met him. I couldn't say, "Oh, Kevin, Open Range is one of the most underrated western movie." I never said. All I could think about was Robin Hood. All those things he ran.
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, "What are y'all in town for?" Just did a courtesy like small talk with
Yeah.
us. And it's like, "Where are y'all headed?" And just a down to earth guy. And that's before Yellowstone, man. That
He's good in Yellowstone.
he is good in Yellowstone. Is Ashley over there?
She
She
no.
exited.
Okay.
She was here and then she left.
Well, she likes Kevin Costner too, but I love Kevin Costner. It's what a good guy. I mean, and just the fact that he was nice to me, you know.
It's like
A true movie
When
star.
you meet celebrities, they're either total jerks or they're super
Yeah.
cool. It's
Tell
like
me-
nothing in between.
Tell me about meeting Robert Plant at the Peabody.
Oh yeah. So earlier before we started this, we were telling Sam about immigrant song. So
Okay, sorry.
so we were at the Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. Bess and I took a vacation to Memphis, and people looked at us like, "What? You're vacationing in Memphis, Tennessee?" Like, well, yeah, because we're going to Graceland. And so
Memphis, Tennessee, I'm going to Graceland.
Paul Simon, right? So we booked the VIP tour.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't have it any other way.
No,
Of the
absolutely not.
Oh, Graceland.
So we,
Yes.
I haven't
Of
been to Graceland. I
Graceland.
need to go.
oh, well, have you been to the Alamo at least?
Yes, I've
Okay.
been to the
Okay,
Alamo.
well, that,
I need you to look
That's
at
a
this
start.
thing. I need to look over here on this wall, but for a minute, you go ahead.
oh yeah, I saw the
William Travis.
The Travis thing. Yeah. So anyway, we went to Graceland, toured it, like did the tour, like dragged our feet, took 2 hours, and then at the end, because we had the VIP passes, we asked the people who worked there, well, can we go do it again? And they looked at each other and just started cracking up, and they were like, well, yeah, I guess nobody ever asked for that.
Because they're just bussing
Because they're
people,
just,
you know, just
shuttling people through
from a
And
hotel
so we,
to
we,
the...
we toured it again because it just has this vibe, you know.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
we
just-
sat outside on
What's
the
your favorite?
benches.
What's your favorite Elvis song?
Oh, wow!
Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody's ever asked me that before.
Well, think about it for a minute.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would need to think about it for a
But
minute.
anyway, just the vibe of the place.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
When I think about Elvis, I think about like blue suede shoes. But I remember seeing like a TV, like him playing just the guitar, and I'm like, damn, Elvis can play the guitar. Like this guy is
He'd been around.
talented, man.
Yeah.
Really super talented. Say what you want, but I guess Suspicious Minds would be.
That's a great song.
We can go together. Oh man, that's
It was a,
Well,
that's
even
a great
like
song.
"Love Me Tender," it's such a simple
Yeah.
song, you know. And it's
which was
beautiful
Love
in
Me
its
Tender.
simplicity.
On a blackbird in a tree, neath a willow tree. That was another song melody, but he made it "Love Me Tender." He changed it, or somebody changed it for him. Anyway,
Right. So
That's
anyway,
what-
so we toured Graceland twice in one day,
yeah.
and then we went back to the hotel, and like, well, let's just have a drink in the lobby, while we figure out where to have dinner. And
Who noticed him first? Was it you?
one of us, it doesn't matter, but I mean, Robert Plant
There's
was in the
nobody there. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like it's a busy
Yeah.
It
hotel.
was
Like,
during the week or something, but we're sitting there on a couch in the lobby, and it's like, hey, maybe it was me. Like, Bess, like, that's Robert Plant over
And
there.
I
He was talking to
act
two
like
people, and they're just having a conversation.
I act like a fool when there's a celebrity
okay, Bess
around.
gets starstruck harder than anybody
I
I've
do.
ever met.
My ears start getting really
Yeah.
red. I start thinking of like
I gotta
what,
follow up story for that. But anyway, so Robert Plant's in the lobby talking to people. Well, that's cool. Robert Plant's here, and so
I probably start shaking.
no, because we were far away. It's like it was fine. You
So
weren't-
when you saw him, what was the first thing you thought about?
that's Robert Plant.
Yeah, but what comes to mind?
I think I'd
Tight
like,
pants and long blonde hair.
that's not what I thought of. But, but
That
I
would
was
be
thinking
what-
of
yeah.
like, I think I like how The West Was Won had just been
Yeah.
released. That like, I don't know, it's like a reissue or
Yeah,
whatever.
the greatest hits.
with a bunch of
Yeah.
like video, and it's like, wow, that guy's, he's been there, done that.
I think I was
everything.
thinking of the
So awesome.
vastness of his career and who he is too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy's in the same room with me.
But he's been to the studio a lot.
And
He lost a kid. He was like our age. But anyway, so okay, Robert Plant's over there, and we're drinking our drinks, trying to figure out where to eat dinner.
This is when he's probably doing his Alison Krauss
Well,
like stuff,
It was right after that, I
so
think.
so
which was also.
I had-
That was a good
I had gone to
album.
the lobby restroom to use the restroom, and he came in and he's using the restroom, and I'm not gonna bug him, But
Yeah.
this other guy came in,
Probably would have.
and this other guy came in while he's standing in front of the urinal using it.
Yeah.
This guy's saying, "Oh, Mr. Plant, blah blah blah," and so I had finished up and said, "Look, like I go to this guy and said, like, don't do that. Just leave him alone." And I kind of shuffled this guy out of there, and I leave, and I go and sit next to Bess on the couch, and then Robert Plant walks up to us, and he introduces himself, very polite, and we just kind of start talking for a minute, and I asked him, like, well, what are you doing in town? And he was working on some blues history project just across the state border in Mississippi, but he was staying at the Belmont because I guess that's his spot.
The Peabody.
The Peabody, thank you.
Belmont is our favorite hotel in
That's
Dallas.
Used to be.
You,
It's gone down, way down.
oh, well,
We haven't been in a long time.
I know y'all have a business now and you can't go anywhere, but it's gone way down. The Belmont in Dallas. It used to be awesome up on Oak Cliff.
Oh, yeah.
You see the skyline. Ashley and I loved it. The last 2 times we've been there, it's been terrible.
Oh.
They sold it. The smoke's not even there. The barbecue place,
Yeah, it closed.
It's not even there.
Right.
even before COVID, yeah.
Even before COVID.
But he was nice to you guys.
Yeah, he was
But he was
nice.
just a cool dude.
Nice guy.
Yeah. And I've
We got
heard
his autograph.
from friends who met him that they say the same thing. He's just this really cool guy. He's down to earth.
I saw Paige and Plant live in Reunion Arena, the old Mavericks Arena, when I was in high school.
I was going to say that had been over 20 years ago.
Travis Norman, one of my best friends, and his mom, Rocky Norman, took me. And I remember I knew like a handful of songs, you know, like Black Dog. Hey, mama said the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. And I just remember Rocky getting up and just dancing like a gypsy. Just,
Oh, she got transformed back to 1972.
yes. It was mysterious. It was great. It was. I love her. I love Travis. Love the whole Norman family. But that, yeah, Led Zeppelin, best rock band. I mean,
the Rolling Stones, greatest rock band in the world.
Well-
they called themselves that.
the Rolling Stones also, but Led Zeppelin's just different. They
invented heavy metal.
They're heavy metal. They're metal. You
Yeah.
know, well, you know, heavy metal. They're heavy metal. They're not just metal. They're, you know, oh man, they rock. Have you heard Greta Van Fleet, the new wave? Of,
Yeah, it's
They sound
Yeah, and
just
they
like.
sound old.
And
like-
I saw them at Austin City Limits. The guy's just like, ah! And he's like a little kid. He's probably my age. I don't know. Who knows? But he sings like Robert Plant. Just belts it out. And I really respect that when singers belt, like they put their balls out there.
but it's been done before.
It has, but it's so refreshing just to hear somebody do it, 40 years later.
Right, and they had a real talent of making. Well, the first time I heard that band, I was like, I should know who this is. Like,
Yeah,
this
you-
is an old.
Yeah,
this
I
is
thought it was Led
this is
Zeppelin.
classic rock. This
Yeah.
is something else that I've heard before. Who is this?
The drums sound just
You
like
know?
the drums.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of like, I talk about Guns N' Roses all the time. Axl sings, he puts it out there, and I met him in New York City. When I was West Point, I was a freshman, and first weekend, Martin Luther King weekend, I was able to leave. Ashley was coming up. She flew into LaGuardia. I'm on the subway, and this is right after 9/11. So like, I'm in the subway. I'm in Grand Central Terminal at the bottom, and I see this guy. He's got red dreadlocks. He's got his Kangol hat, like a leather Kango hat, like a Gilligan's Island type Kangol, but it's black leather.
With the brim.
And he's got these rings. I'm like, who the hell? And Luke, my brother, I didn't have a TV. Luke told me, like, hey, Guns N' Roses just came out the MTV Music Awards at the end because they've been on hiatus. Axl's been in hiding for like 20 years.
Right, I think I remember that.
He's like, he's got red dreadlocks. I was like, okay. So I see this guy with red dreadlocks. That was at Radio City Music Hall. I go up, and then I see the Appetite for Destruction cross, the tattoo he has on his forearm, and I knew that because I'm a huge fan. I go up and I'm like, man, you're Axl Rose. And he goes, yeah. He goes, how's it going? And I sit there and talk to him for like 20 minutes. People are walking by, and he's waiting. He's like, his bodyguard was in line getting him a ticket or whatever because he was going to Ground Zero to the site. I was going to LaGuardia to pick up Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him for like 20 minutes. He's so nice. We're talking about Chinese democracy. This is way before it even came out. You know, it came out, eventually ended up coming out in 2009 when I was in Afghanistan. This is back in 2002 when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
And so 7 years later. But I tell Ashley all the time, it's like, I had to leave Axl Rose to go pick her up at the airport.
That's love.
I could have gone with him. Probably, I want to say that he would have let me.
He would have invited
You
me
could
over.
be in Guns N' Roses right now.
I could have rode on the subway with him. And that's why
Ashley is a special lady.
I love Ashley so much.
She's heard this story a million times.
And I have his autograph somewhere, but I was like, Axl, I gotta go, man. My favorite singer, favorite musician of all time. And he's like, all right, well, good luck, man. He's like, and I'm leaving. He goes, you want me to sign anything? And I was like, oh yeah. And I had him sign a dollar bill, and then I had him sign a piece of paper. I still have it framed, but he's the one that suggested that as I was leaving.
That's so funny.
And this was before cameras, camera phones.
So what's your favorite Guns N' Roses song?
Well, good question, because it changes all the time, but probably Estranged, probably. But I love them. I love so many of them.
Mine
it's
has to
crazy.
be November Rain.
Yeah, I love November Rain, but that's one of the
That song
that's
I
one of
can listen to.
But it's one of the major hits.
over
It's one of the
and over.
major
It
hits
is.
that I've heard so many times.
But
And
every time it
yeah.
comes on, it strikes that feeling in me
Yeah.
of the first time I heard it. Like those songs that will transport you back to your car driving around or
So
your
this-
bedroom when you were young.
So this will make you feel. Always makes me feel kind of bad. Axl Rose wrote November Rain when he was 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So like all those songs they wrote,
So it got stashed away.
they were 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
No, Appetite came out. That's kind of like when they were how old they were, but he's in his 20s and he's writing all these songs, and like they had most of those songs written like for Use Your Illusion and stuff, like when they were on tour for Appetite for Destruction. But I was like, man, what was I writing when I was 21? Nothing. But like he wrote the masterpiece, because Duff was saying like he was always like banging around. They didn't have money for a piano, so anytime he'd see a piano, he'd start writing more pieces to November Rain, and then finally had the whole song. But I think it's cool.
Yeah. Good old Axl Rose.
All right, so now beer tasting.
Second installation of the beer tasting.
Second installation.
Round 2.
And then we have my lovely wife, Ashley Dean, joining us with her cranberry juice.
You could pretend it's wine or something.
I do. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Cranberry juice
Is
is
it the
hard to
unsweetened?
drink.
Is it the unsweetened
unsweetened.
cranberry juice?
It's real cranberry juice.
Because that really does kind of taste like wine.
It's good for your kidneys.
Okay, so first beer in round 2 of the tasting.
Rain is in, Mike.
Yeah.
He's the host.
I'm taking over.
The host of the podcast.
I'm Johnny Carson now. So, Great Raft, the brewery out of Shreveport, Louisiana, and they make amazing beers. And this is another one. This one's called Walker Melon Texas Ranger. It's
Walker Melon.
Walker Melon Texas Ranger. You haven't heard of that guy?
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, it's an IPA, an India Pale Ale with watermelon. And so I like this one a lot. So you smell it and it smells of fresh cut watermelon.
Okay.
I got you one. And then
Fresh cut watermelon.
it has
Don't give me an old cut.
Give
Give me a fresh cut.
Yeah, who wants
The
an
old cut is the
watermelon?
tub in the grocery store that you
Wait,
buy
Bess.
already cut.
When did y'all cut this watermelon?
Just now.
You heard the crack.
That is fresh cut. That's green. That smells like the rind.
Right? It's like it does smell green. Planty.
It's an IPA.
It's an IPA.
India Pale Ale. Give me the history on it. IPA.
Okay, so India Pale Ale is a revived Old English style from when India was a colony.
Great Britain.
But beer wasn't making it, just wouldn't keep around the Cape of South Africa. It would go bad. So more alcohol, more hops,
and hops are naturally antibacterial, the beer would keep better and higher alcohol. So
That's how you get it.
and so it's been a popular style, revived for the 20-25 years. But IPAs have changed quite a bit. A lot of people, if you tasted an IPA 10, 15 years ago, and you hated it because it was super bitter with sweet malt to counter it, and it turned a lot of people off. But the modern New England style or hazy IPA, it's different. They're using newer strains, newer varieties of hops that are more fruity and not bitter. And so they don't have to use as sweet of a malt to counter it. And so it's just more user-friendly. It's easier to drink. And this is an example of that plus watermelon. So
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Do you,
And
do you
Sam,
get the
I-
watermelon?
Yeah,
Sam, I know you're not an IPA guy, but
yeah.
this is different, is it not?
It is different, and I like it. I am. You're right. I'm not an IPA guy. Thanks for clarifying that. But it's better than a lot of the IPAs I taste.
Yeah, it's nice
It's
and
fantastic. And if you like watermelon, it's
juicy.
a taste of fresh watermelon. I feel like I should be spitting out a steed.
And then karate chopping it.
I feel like Gallagher. Yeah. Smash it with a hammer with some suspenders on.
That would be fun too. But anyway, probably should report that. But
Well, who's drinking this when we're done? Isn't that gross?
that's
You.
yeah.
So,
You've
yeah,
already
host.
made this claim.
There's a cup in the middle of the table that we put out the whatever's left in our glass. We pour it in there, so it's a mixture of all these different.
And Sam's
craft
gonna drink it
beers.
at the end of the show, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay, so next beer, Ingenious Brewing Company out of Humble, or if you're from there, Humble, Texas,
Humble.
and it's called Triple Splat, and it's another made-up style, a hazy triple IPA, lots of malt, lots of hops, 10% alcohol, big boy beer.
10%. Why not 11%?
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Okay, it's a big glass. Big guy. What's the name of this one more time? Same.
Triple Splat by Ingenious Brewing Company.
Triple splat.
It's a lot. That's a lot of beer in your mouth.
Wow. Yeah, that is very. It's a lot of alcohol. I can tell.
It's hidden well though, but you taste more like citrus and more even like pine,
Yep,
like pine resin.
Yeah.
piney.
These are all Texas beers today, right?
Except for the watermelon one, that's from Louisiana.
Oh, coon ass beer.
Shreveport.
Shreveport.
There's
That's-
some good beer
that's the
coming out of
vampires.
Louisiana.
From True Blood, right? Aren't they from Shreveport?
Are they?
What? It's either. What's the other vampire show on HBO? There's True Blood, and there's what's the other one? Walking Dead. One of those.
That's a zombie show.
Well, one of those. The plot of the vampires are in Shreveport, Louisiana.
It's True Blood. I didn't know if it was Shreveport, but they're definitely in Louisiana.
Yeah,
They're in the South.
Shreveport, maybe Bossier City.
That was a good TV show. I lost interest after a while.
Yeah, I never got into it.
That beer, I like it, but again,
It's a lot. It's
I don't
pretty
think I
rich.
could make it through a whole one without just.
That's extra crunk. I'll give that a crunk rating of 9.5.
Okay, yeah, getting crunk.
That is a guaranteed. You're
Yeah.
getting drunk or your money back.
Yes, that'd be one. I'd be like, I need this after a 12-hour shift.
This is the kind of beer that when you just really only have the energy to drink one
and
beer.
done. Yeah.
I usually
I'm
go
gonna do
for a real high alcohol. You sip on it and then you're good to go.
Also a suitable meal replacement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
protein shake.
If you're hungry, just down that thing. It'll be over.
You're good to go.
Yep.
So next beer up, a brewery that I'm a fan of. All their stuff is good. Tups, out of McKinney, and it's September. We're getting out into fall Oktoberfest season, so this is their annual Oktoberfest seasonal Marzen style ale
It's always one of our popular Oktoberfests. We get it every year.
because it's good. Now, Oktoberfest, the cool thing, it's I'm not pouring that much, but
No.
it's white appeal.
I gotta work tomorrow.
It's an amber ale, malty, kind of sweet, great with food, which it's designed for food basically.
You know, pretzels and sausage.
Sausage on a stick, you know.
Yeah. Everybody loves that. The kids screaming in the background. They're having
It's
fun.
cool.
They're having
It's cool,
fun.
yeah.
They're not getting tortured or anything.
No, but that's a steep staircase.
But that's so smooth compared to what we just drank.
Oh, it's like,
like I
night
said, yeah,
and
it's like
day,
water.
right?
It's like-
It's a food beer. It's
Yeah.
It's made to be easy to drink.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at Oktoberfest right now with this thick beer.
Where is the what is the instrument they play at the Oktoberfest? The
Accordion?
Accordion.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what they play?
Oh yeah.
Dance around?
Among other instruments, sure. But yeah, we're in the tent. We're in Munich right
This
now.
is the coldest Oktoberfest. You know, like usually the beer's kind of warm. Which I don't like warm beer.
No. Awful.
All right. I like it. What else?
Next up,
Oh,
so
I can't wait to try this.
Bess and I haven't actually tried this.
I've been
before,
wanting to try
but-
this beer
okay.
since
What
we've
is
gotten it. It's
So-
a peanut butter.
So it's from Ingenious Brewing
I
Company
like it. All right. Peanut butter
versus jelly.
versus jelly. Who's gonna win?
Porter.
Porter.
Okay, if you had to pick right now,
Peanut butter.
I'm making you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm only got enough peanut butter for one person. I'm only got enough jelly for one person. Are you taking the peanut butter or the jelly?
Oh.
You said so. Peanut butter and bread for you, Mike.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter and
Yeah.
bread for you too. Okay.
I mean, I do love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah.
I love them. I think I ate them every day when I was pregnant. And I don't even think it was
Crunchy?
because
What
I was
kind of
pregnant.
Peanut butter?
I
What
like
brand?
smooth peanut butter, and I usually buy the Smucker's Natural.
Never had it.
I don't know what it is about that brand, but I love it because it doesn't have any sugar. Like it's like the ingredients is peanut butter and salt. Like that's it. And it's smooth,
Thank you.
but it's got some texture to it. It still has some like a little bit of crunch.
Wow.
So
But
this is it's a porter, which is dark, roasty. Sometimes they can be a little sweet, but this one has the addition of grapes, blueberries, strawberries, and
You can
peanut butter.
It smells like a peanut
smell
butter
it.
and jelly sandwich.
It does exactly.
It really captures it.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes
So-
these beer,
Yeah.
whatever these people come up with, these combinations, these adjunct additives. It sounds weird, but sometimes it really works.
You know what I think? I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
experiment and they do a taste test. It's just kind of like I do with coffee. I experiment with my roaster, and when I get something out, we do a taste test. Then I come up with the name. Then I come up with the flavor notes. So like they created this, and they're like, "Hey Jim, this kind of smells like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich."
No. I think it happened the other way. I think it's like, let's make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich beer.
No,
And then they went
I
from
do
there.
not.
You don't think that's how it happens?
I disagree.
I disagree with you. I think they came up with this on accident. It was like, man, it smells like
This is not an accident.
No.
You don't accidentally make a peanut butter and jelly
no, because
sandwich beer.
they will drop they'll drop peanut butter in the brew.
after the fact.
No.
They'll be like, let's
coughing.
put some peanut butter in there just to make sure we put a little peanut butter in there.
Sam, have you ever brewed beer?
Yes.
Okay.
Really? In earnest?
I had Ashley got me a personal beer brewing kit at
Okay,
Fort
okay.
Benning, Georgia.
It's like a kit? Like
With like 5-gallon buckets in the
it wasn't a
garage.
box thing. It was like
Yeah,
a bunch
I did it. I did the whole thing.
But you learn a lot about beer from making it.
Yeah.
But this is
What
not
do you
a
think
mistake.
about
Mainly,
this?
mainly what I learned is like this. It's gonna turn out either bad or good. I don't know what's gonna happen.
But this beer wasn't an accident. It was a goal.
They set out to make a peanut butter and jelly porter.
Well,
But what do you
it's
think
called
about it? What do you think it tastes? I mean,
It tastes okay.
you
I mean,
like
I
it?
smell bread, peanut butter, and jelly.
Yeah, I get it.
I like it. I'm glad we tried it because I've been very curious about this beer. Normally, I love peanut butter and jelly, but I'm not always big on the peanut butter beers.
Right. I mean, I'd rather eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich than
Right.
drink a
I
Lone
guess-
Star.
Star.
Yeah. You wash it down with a Lone Star. But, it's not bad. And I get what they're saying, but, I mean, I guess I'm just being, thinking that it's a lot easier if you just start brewing a bunch of different beer, a bunch of different ways, and you're like, hey, this one tastes like a cerveza.
Well, no, you got to have a goal in
This one
mind.
tastes like this. This one's like this.
There has to be an objective.
Right, but yeah, your pickle
The
beer
objective is
didn't
making
happen
something
by
good.
accident.
But I think the
Yeah, you
objective
start
is
there.
making something good. But like you can't always. It doesn't always turn out. What it's just like anything. I mean, it's always getting to Plan B. Is the whole thing. It's getting. How do I get to Plan B? Because Plan A never comes out really. Everything you set out to do usually
You have to modify your expectations.
modified into
Right.
something else. So, but you see what I'm saying? That could be a thing. I'm not saying that it happened with this one, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
You
think
gonna
you
enjoy
can.
that, or should we move on to the next
let's
one?
move on.
Okay,
We're on
so
a roll.
next beer is from Illinois, and everybody's heard of Goose Island beers.
So is Abraham Lincoln. But go ahead.
True. Honest Abe. So
You know how he got Honest Abe, the name? So
refresh me.
He worked at a Come and Take It, if you will, in Illinois back in the day. And he overcharged somebody on accident. And he realized he did it once they left. And he rode his horse or something for like 2 days to give them their money back. And that's how he got the name Honest Abe.
I thought it was because he was when he was an attorney, he went to trial, and the other guy, because it was the olden days, couldn't make it because there was a storm or a mule died or whatever. And so Lincoln tried both sides of the case fairly. Like, he was the lawyer for both sides. And I think he, on the part of the, I don't know if it was the plaintiff or defendant, like, he won the case for his opponent out of honesty. Like, that's how it shook out.
Yeah, I just made that up.
I didn't. So anyway,
I didn't either. I read that in a book, but
These are two very different stories.
you could be right. I don't know.
But
I never
maybe
heard that.
maybe the two stories are true, and that is just his character,
Yeah,
and that is the kind of guy he was. So, who cares where it came from? Both of those stories give him an honest character.
oh, thank you. You sound like you're dead.
Well, I am his daughter.
It's true.
Talking about Alan Boswell, who's
yeah.
also a lawyer.
He is also a lawyer, a
Honest
criminal defense,
Honest Alan, I've heard he's been called around Athens.
a criminal defense attorney.
Yeah,
He always thinks people get second chances.
and let's plug Mike's Surplus.
Yes.
Next to CrossFit Van Zant South in Athens, I just bought for $300. I bought like a 5-piece patio furniture set, and I also bought a whole box of Topo Chico on the cheap at $33 for like 46 Topo Chicos. I love going
That's
in there.
super cheap for Topo Chico.
Yeah, you can't find a Topo Chico for under $1.
No.
Anywhere.
I sell them for $1.50.
Yeah, yours are fresh though. Because I've gotten some from Mike's that
Or maybe like a little bit.
flat.
We call that. We have coined the term "getting mic'd."
Bad publicity, y'all. That's something to get out there.
Dad, I'm sorry.
Rewind the tape, okay?
Look, we can't take
We're
that
not
out.
on a tape.
We're not going to edit that out because this is Honest
But
Honest
Mike's
Sam's
Surplus
podcast.
is also a hidden gem in
It
Athens.
is. I love going there. I go there at least
Once
once
people
a week.
go there, they usually tell me, because I'll tell a lot of people to go there, and then they'll make it there, and then they'll say, I can't believe I've never been in there. Because
you go
you
in
never
there
know
and
what
there's
you're gonna
there's
find.
there's some deal that is pointed at you. Like
Right.
I can't believe I can find the Viva Cadillac
Yeah.
paper towels for this cheap.
They have a paddle board outside, and Patrick today was like, "How much on that paddle board?"
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, is it Mike or who's the?
Probably Mike.
It's probably Mike.
Yeah,
Glasses, usually has on a ball
yeah,
cap.
Mike was like $3.59 or something. It's like we can't do that one. We're gonna wait. We don't.
You can best offer
Don't
there.
you have some paddle
don't know,
boards
bro.
at...
I've got
in
two.
Canton?
I've got two. Patrick was wanting it, but you don't want to ask. I had to ask. Anyway, the furniture was $350. Got them down to $300. Everybody's happy. Ashley loves it. Freckles hadn't chewed it up yet. So.
You got it today, right?
it today.
I'm pretty sure that I saw that furniture sit on Facebook earlier today. Liked it because gotta like those posts with your
Right.
people.
You got to.
And then I walked on your patio and I was like, Mike's discount.
See, I saw your post. I drove straight to Mike's Surplus.
All the way from CrossFit South.
I bought the set. Got it here just to show you that I follow your posts.
I love that.
It was very comfortable to sit there.
It
You
was
know
good.
what?
It's nice.
My dad likes to know that social media is working for him,
Yeah.
and this will definitely make him happy.
All right, what is this?
So final beer.
It's a big glass.
Everybody's heard of Goose Island
This is
beers.
the big
right?
boy of the
you've-
beers today.
You've seen it, But this is Bourbon County Stout. It's highly sought after. There's a lot of beer in this bottle. So it's an imperial stout.
Yes, it
A
is.
lot of malt, a lot of roasted malt, really roasty. And then it's aged in bourbon barrels. So you get the oaky vanilla taste.
Do you want to guess what the alcohol percentage on this
12.
beer is? Higher.
Higher than 12?
Yeah.
That's why I had that face when I
Right.
took a
That's
drink of
why you had that
it. Is it 15?
0.2.
15.2%.
Yeah. So when I took this and drank it, it was like it's like taking a shot of bourbon or something. I mean, it's not that bad, but
It smells.
It's boozy
Of
for
bourbon.
sure. Like you smell
God,
ethanol.
yeah. It's like whoo.
But
People wonder
yeah.
why this beer costs $20.
a lot went into making it.
One, it's almost a 40 ounce. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks like an
40.
old English
It
40.
doesn't look like enough 40. So anyway,
40.
so it,
How many ounces are we
a lot of,
talking?
a lot of times people ask me like,
Nobody can see.
It's a pint.
They can't see on the podcast. It's a pint.
people ask, Mike, why does this
24
beer
ounces.
cost $12?
Yeah.
It's like asking Mike, why does the cheese pizza cost so much less than the Supreme pizza? Well, because a lot more went into the Supreme pizza.
Yeah.
There was
And
a
so-
lot of ingredients.
And there's it's aged, but remember I was talking before about like with the steak you want a wine that can stand
Yeah.
up to it, and so this is the kind of beer that can stand up to a cigar. It can take the
Yeah,
place of
no doubt.
the cognac or bourbon or whatever. You can drink this, sip it. It's a sipping beer. This
It
is
makes sense.
It
man.
it's not a lawnmower beer. This is one that you tuck into and you take your time with, and it's in a big bottle, so you share it. It's an event to open it.
That makes sense, man. I've never heard that before. How if you have a heavyweight meal, like a steak,
You don't
you
want
need
a
a
wine
heavy-
spritzer with that.
you need a heavyweight wine. If you're having a cigar, which is a heavy flavor, which I don't smoke cigars, but it's a heavy sensation. You need something to mimic that.
Yeah,
if
this
you're
would probably-
eating grilled flounder, which is delicate and light, you want a delicate light wine.
Okay, now I know. Now I'm an expert
That's
in wine, in
pretty
beer.
much.
So the notes on this
Now I
beer.
can work. Let me just put it this way: if you guys need to go on a 4-day, maybe 5-day vacation down to Galveston, somewhere close where if I can cell phone reception is a must,
Right.
so I can call, I can work a couple shifts for you just based on what you taught me tonight.
We'll work on that, okay?
We'll keep you in mind.
Yeah.
But you're
Don't call us, we'll call you.
you're
Okay.
busy as
Yeah.
well.
I am busy, but I would do that for y'all.
And you know that I can coach some CrossFit
you
classes.
do coach cross. You were assistant
for
coach.
you.
I haven't. You're still an intern. You're unpaid.
An
By the
unpaid
way, yes.
intern. I'm fine with that title. Unpaid
Yeah.
intern assistant to the assistant
But your
coach.
mom also at the 9 o'clock class is a pretty good assistant coach. And
she's
she's got her crew, Lynn.
She is.
We're talking Kim, Lynn, Melissa. Shout out to Pam.
Team Boomer.
Rita is the
Rita, the new addition.
The new addition,
Fitting in
Rita.
nicely. They did great on front squat today. Everybody did. Al, your dad did well too. Everybody did great.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that I missed it. I missed the 9 o'clock today, so I hope that they probably did better since I wasn't there.
I'm glad you weren't there because we got notes. All right, let's go quick through shotgun these notes real quick.
So
Mike.
where did these notes come from?
All right, I can't tell you where these notes came from.
Well, I'll tell everybody.
Okay.
So
No.
they came from my mother-in-law.
Yeah. Honey, Kim Boswell.
Honey Boswell.
Let me just tell you, she thinks the world of you guys. Both of y'all. And
That's great.
We talked about Mike Suarez for a minute. Let's talk about Mike Suarez for a minute. As a kid in high school, tell me about off-road bicycles. Is this BMX?
Well, no, this is more in college. I raced mountain bikes,
Okay.
and it was a sport that I'm good at because it's really solo sport. You can't have any sort
Honestly,
of outside help. You're in it. You leave the starting line with your bike, and you're on your own. And I was pretty good at it. It was my best sport, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. It's just
So you raced mountain bikes on
Yeah.
a mountain bike single track?
single track all over Texas, in Louisiana, New Mexico.
But did you win state? What kind of title did you have?
So I in my age category in '99, I won a minor state title. Anyway, it was fun. It was, testing myself basically,
Yeah.
because it's not a team sport.
And he was a bike mechanic. He worked in a bike shop.
And I worked in
You
bike
know
shops.
about bikes?
Yeah.
What do you think about electric bicycles?
I remember when they first came out, like in the late '90s.
Yeah.
It was kind of an eye roller, but if that gets people on the street and gets them outside, great, whatever.
I want to get one.
Yeah.
Specialized has these
So drive up and down 19.
pretty bad electric bikes.
Good luck.
Anyway, they're awesome mountain bikes, but they also have a battery that can go like 35 miles an hour. I don't know. I think it's cool. She also said, Mike's also, he's basically a Texas historian. He knows a lot about Texas history. That's why I said, well, I'm excited to show you my William Travis letter. I grew up thinking I was related to William Travis, and I don't think I am, but my grandmother's maiden name was Travis. And so every time we talked about the Alamo, whenever we talked about the commander, Lieutenant Colonel William Travis, he drew the line in the sand.
He was young.
He was
really young.
I think he was 26.
Yeah.
He had a failed marriage. He had a divorce. I think his wife cheated on him, and he had a son with her. And he had a failed newspaper in Alabama. And before that, he came from South Carolina, but he came to Texas and he started practicing law. And then when Gonzales happened, he stood up and became an officer.
Well, yeah, it's Texas is the story of these guys who just kept reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
And quick story. Yes, I am fascinated by Texas history. It's part of the reason I didn't come up with the name "Come and Take It" for our store.
Mm-hmm.
Bess's cousin Byron Kelly did.
We have to give him credit for
I
that.
got to give him
I've
credit where
met
credit's
Byron.
due. But
We've met Byron.
great guy. But
Great attorney.
okay, enough about Byron. So we'll have a laugh about that. But anyway, and I became fascinated in Texas history because in grade school, through college, I was a terrible student. I was just so bored with it always. But when I was in the third grade, I think, and it's crazy to think a year older than my own son, the teacher who was supposed to be there, she got pregnant or got sick or got eaten by a shark or whatever. So anyway, I mean, we had this teacher for 3 weeks, and then this other teacher, Ms. Wolf, never forget it. Ms. Wolf
she realized that when we're sitting down at doing assignments or taking a test, I would always whip through it and be bored and start walking around talking to other kids while they're trying to work or whatever.
Yeah.
I was disruptive, but not like bad, not like hyperactive. And so she first, like when I would whip through something, she would give me this plastic mat that had the Alamo, and like a vinyl mat that had the Alamo on it, like a scene, and these little vinyl characters of the Mexican soldiers and the Texian soldiers. And so I could like make a little scene out of it, like activity. And then I guess she saw that I really liked that. So at the end of the assignment or the end of the whatever, she would give me these little books, these little children's books that were like, words and pictures of the different, fathers of Texas, whether it was Stephen F. Austin or William Travis or Jim Bowie. And it was just these books. And I wish I knew what they were now so that I can give them to my kids. But I can't remember what the series was. But it fascinated me. And so from then on, I thought it was so cool that these people just decided they wanted to make a country and they did it. And that was amazing.
What's it like? Your grandfather, your name's Mike Suarez.
It's true.
Your grandfather or your great grandfather was born in Mexico. No? Or
No. This is Kim Boswell history. So we're going back to Mike Suarez history. So my family has been in Texas since the 1800s.
yeah.
And, it's this funny thing my grandfather would tell me that I thought it was silly stuff. He would say, when everybody else showed up, we were here making tacos. And I thought it was just a silly thing that he would say, but no, I think he's really right. I identify as a Texan.
Yeah, well, you
For
are.
sure.
I mean, yeah. But growing up as a, when you're looking at the Alamo, what did you see what did you see Santa Ana as?
A tyrant.
Yeah.
A tyrant, and these other people wanted freedom.
Yeah.
Just like the U.S. at the time, Those guys grew up, like learning the stories of the Revolution, the American Revolution, and so.
I'm sorry. One of the best parts of the podcast right here, and my dogs are fighting right under my feet.
Sounds about right. But where were we?
So you were interested in that, kind of sparked your Texas
that was the seed of it.
history. Yeah. Like that's something that you felt spoke to you.
Yeah. People decided they wanted to make a country, and they did it.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is amazing. When I got to West Point, and this is on another podcast with Patrick, but I didn't know. When I got to West Point, Chuck Steele, one of my football coaches and one of my history professors said, Sam, Texas Revolution was a lot about slavery too.
Yeah.
Slavery was illegal in Mexico.
And they want to keep their slaves
because we had slaves.
Texas was poor.
Yes.
And so that was the way that they could create an economy. I mean, it's nasty. It's ugly. It's a black eye.
And Patrick told me, well, it was illegal in Mexico, but the Catholic Church basically enslaved people in the name of religion.
True.
And it doing it in a whole different way, but somehow it's okay.
That was okay. Yeah.
And it's super interesting to me. We got to go to San Jacinto and see that battlefield recently. One of my friends died. We went down there to Houston to his funeral, and I'd never been there before. And have you?
I went there as a kid. Yeah.
And I had just recently read another Sam Houston book, and all right, Bess, Mike, we've said it all.
We kicked the dogs out.
We kicked the dogs out.
The dogs are gone.
We've done the beer tasting.
We have a lot of beer here on the table.
Okay, now we got to get to the wine tasting.
Let's go. But I asked you earlier, I was like, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? What are the goals for Come and Take It? Where are we 10 years from now?
Well, okay, that's an interesting question given current circumstances that we're all familiar with at this point.
But hopefully we're getting through those.
And I believe we will.
Yeah.
I think after the election, regardless of outcome, I think I know the outcome, but regardless of the outcome, I think the COVID thing will kind of chill out.
Yeah.
This past weekend, I went to San Antonio for family stuff, and it was weird. To everybody listening who lives in Canton, Athens, stay in your community because it's just weird. Like everybody's obsessed with the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And there are some business moves that I want to make. I'm not going to do anything until let's just let November 3rd shake out.
No doubt.
But if all of that wasn't going on, Come and Take It
in a vacuum.
Yes, like moving forward with Come and Take It. We've discussed this and
numerous times. Yeah.
We've had numerous people approach us about opening more Come and Take It's. Like,
yeah. And what does that make
like
you feel?
what if we opened another one? If
okay, truth be told, you open one store, you can make a living off of it. And as a rule of thumb, if you want to make real money, you open others, like you've done.
Contraire, my friend.
Well, rule of thumb, like I said.
Rule of thumb, it looks like it's just double the work. It's really quadruple the work to have 2 locations. If you're still running them yourself, unless you have general managers.
But
which
we
Rachel
already discussed
is a
like how hard that is to accomplish.
It's tough.
Shout out to Rachel Snow.
Yeah. But it's super tough.
Anyway,
But that's hard. I mean, there's only one of me and Mike. I mean, we Come and Take It is ours. Like, it's just like we talked about earlier.
It's actually called the icon problem. That you think you're the icon of the store, and your customers think you're the icon of the store, and they don't want to come in there and see somebody else do it. And you have to get over there. It's the hardest thing in the world, but you have to train somebody to be good enough where you're comfortable to get away and you're not.
that's a good.
And I believe that's a possibility.
That way, one day somebody can come in and say, you know what? How much, Mike, Bess? How much do you want for Come and Take It? I'll write you a check, and you can sell it and retire. Because if they wrote you a check and you're going to retire, you're not going to be there anymore. It still needs to run as it always has been.
Sure, not my problem at that point.
Well, I know, but it's the same thing I have with CrossFit. It's like one day I want to sell CrossFit Van Zandt to somebody. I don't want to just sell the equipment. I want to sell the business to somebody. So it has the classes.
It has more value. Yeah.
Classes have to run
Right.
like I would run them, and the clients stay when I leave.
But continue the spirit of it.
Yeah, and of course I would like to be a coach there still and get paid, or whatever.
Yeah, your retirement job.
But I want somebody to buy the business from me, and not just all the equipment, not just all the refrigerators in your case, and all the inventory. So we have to train people to be comfortable enough. How do we do that?
I feel like that we're training up. Maybe we can just get John and Susie to run it one day.
But then you want to burden them with that. They maybe want to be an astronaut.
You're right.
Do I want to do what my dad did? No. Just on principle.
I want to live in an RV one day and travel around.
Everybody wants to do that. That's
I
what
know.
we want to do. Everybody wants to do that. It's awesome.
I want to stay in the United States of America. I want to go to all the states, travel in an RV with it. Possibly, maybe one cat.
No.
I'm out.
And meet people, just like meet people, hear their stories. Relax, start a podcast.
That's what people do.
Drink
apparently.
craft beer and like good wine. Look at some water. I mean, I want to do all that. I want to grow old and just be able to just go out there and be a part of it all. But I do love my job. Like, I love Come and Take It. It's my home away from home. I mean, it's where we are most of the time.
It's obvious that y'all do.
And I love it there. And I love our customers. I love introducing good beers and wines to people. I mean, I love it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have it any
part of my
other
job
way.
is turning people onto something, that they never thought that they would like.
And it's fun finding all this stuff. Like, that's one part that's fun for me. I don't have a ton of time to do it, but just to sit and search new products.
Yeah.
Because our store is ever changing.
Because y'all are, owner operator, independent. A lot of your vendors, a lot of these guys are the same people, same type of people that make these beers.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mom and pop making these
Yeah.
beers. Who can sell it? Come and take it in Athens. Look at me. I'm one of your people. Ashley and I. Y'all were the first vendor of Van Zandt coffee. You were
love
the
that.
first person to sell Van Zandt coffee.
And I remember you put it in those bags
Handwritten.
that were handwritten.
Oh, I hated those.
Did you write? You wrote all those bags, right?
Yes.
Like that was your handwriting
That
on
was
the
my
bags.
handwriting that Mike just made fun of earlier tonight.
I think that you probably concentrated more on the bags because they had to be
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
able to for people to read.
But I appreciate you guys, and I thank you for being a vendor of mine. Bess, I thank you for being a member of CrossFit, and Kim, if you're listening, and Alan, and
Oh, they're listening.
and Rita, Lynn, Melissa, who else?
Pam.
Pam.
All the boomers.
The 9 a.m. class. We love
Shout
you.
out to 9 a.m., which I'm a part of that
We shouted
group.
out to all the coaches: Rachel, Adrian, Brian, of course Ashley Dean, who's the best coach of the CrossFit Van Zandt. Got Dawn. Who else did we talk about today? Tara. Brian.
I love
Brooke,
CrossFit, and I
Truman.
love you and Ashley. And honestly, I've never lived in another small community. I've lived in Athens. I've lived in Austin. I've lived in Boulder. Back to Austin. Back to Athens. But I really do think that our community is unique. That we support one another. I mean, I sell Van Zandt coffee all day long. I mean, I'm wearing your
You got
shirt.
the shirt on.
And
I know
I
you're
wear
specific-
this-
You knew we were coming here for
That's
the
what I
podcast.
said.
No,
Yeah.
this is one of my favorite shirts. I still don't understand why I paid $35 for it,
Yeah.
but
She didn't because she didn't catch the pre-sale. She didn't catch the pre-sale.
Yeah, $35 for a shirt.
but I
That's,
love your coffee. It's easy to sell. It's easy to sell a good product, and that's I feel that that's what we try to bring in to come and take it.
I'm not in the
It's
t-shirt
not hard to
business.
sell
Yeah.
good products.
No, you are.
And with Atticus, I mean, like, we love them. We send people down there. They send people to us. I honestly, ask Mike, I try to recruit CrossFitters all the time.
I know, and we talk about come and take it in the class.
So I
'Cause
love our
like
little
it. It's good.
community.
Yeah, no.
You know, it's we lift each other up. We support each other, and I think that might be unique
It is.
for small business owners to be so united
Yeah.
in a common
But
good.
the understanding that, and Bess has heard me say this 1,000 times, but a rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
And to understand that is important.
It is.
And it does happen. It's happening in Athens right now. Like there's a lot of there's
yeah.
a lot there are some that realize that, and there's some that don't.
Yeah.
But
I also remember this. When I ran for Congress, you guys were one of my biggest supporters from day one.
oh, we do it again.
And y'all held a fundraiser for me, and I'll never forget that for as long as I live. So I thank you for that. And that was a tough time, but it was great. I wouldn't change it for the world. But you guys were, even, I had people, and I just felt like I just met y'all recently, and you guys were so supportive of me, and I'll never forget that. So thank y'all for that.
Well, I remember going in. I think I was buying coffee from you, and you it was right when you announced it, and you told me,
Yeah.
I'm running for Congress, and I said yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
this is right. This is exactly who should be a representative.
And not to get into that because we can spend 6 hours on
Yeah,
that.
sure.
But it's human nature to represent your own interest. It's human nature, right? I'm going to protect my family first, obviously. So I think we should elect people that are most like us. And people, whoever can represent who. But like, I want my representative to be from here. I want them to be a business owner because I know they're going to take care of themselves, which in turn is going to take care of me. When somebody says, like, well, we'll also take care of you, too, they're just paying lip service to you. And
But somebody who doesn't understand how a business works or
Yeah.
who's never done that before, never started a business, like that's not a
Yeah.
real representative.
yeah, it's not. And you know, like, that doesn't represent anybody. It's not the
You know,
worker.
someone who wants to be a
The
politician.
business owner has the employees working for them. They work for them, and you're taking care of so many people, but So anyway. So we said it all. I want to thank you, Bess and Mike, for being on here.
It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Come and take it, Athens. Go once again, Larkin Street behind Bacon Chevrolet, right by Common Area Market, across the highway from Atticus and Company, down the street from CrossFit Van Zandt South, in Athens, Texas. I want to thank you, the sponsors, Van Zandt Coffee Company and Protein Proletas, the protein ice cream that is sold at CrossFit Van Zandt in the freezer. You can get it there at both of my locations. You can
and
also
it is so good.
You can also go to proletas.com. That's PROLETAS.com. And some of them have at least 24 grams of protein. So after you work out, you can actually eat ice cream, and it'll help your muscles grow. So thank you guys. If you want to sponsor the podcast, reach out to me at vzfit.com. Send me a message, whatever. Thanks for listening. This is a long podcast, but we had 2 beer tastings, and we got to know 2 people. This is the first time I've had. First of all, Bess, congratulations on being the first woman to ever be on the Sam Dean podcast.
Sam Dean
I
is
feel
woke.
honored.
It's woke.
This
Mike
could be your
Suarez.
woke.
First guy that has a Hispanic sounding name. But I love having people on here. I learned a lot tonight, and thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Bye.